and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank, man. I'm joined by Patrick Price, aka Ix. We got Christopher Duarte, aka Parasite. We got the one and only Benjay Nassim. And today, we got a special guest in the building. We got the COO of the Minnesota ROKKR, Brett Diamond, with us, joining us to start the show. What's going on, Brett Diamond? What's happening, man?
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
Yeah, bro. We saw the little event that you guys threw this past weekend. It seemed like it had a really good turnout, man. It seems like you guys had a really cool thing going on over there. How'd that all go?
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting event in Madison, Wisconsin. Had a little bit under 1,000 fans in the building.
That's dope.
You know, as everybody saw, played a couple matches live against Florida and LAG, and that's the first of two of those events. We're going to host another one in St. Paul, Minnesota in May. Overall, for us, it felt like a really good event. Fans were pumped. The vibes were good. And yeah, it's exciting to have some fans in person this stage.
Yeah, for sure. I know, Ben, I know you had some questions that you wanted to ask Brett. I know there was some controversy. I mean, it's not Brett's fault. There were some things that were being said on socials and stuff about like competitive integrity and stuff. But Ben, what kind of questions you got for Brett Diamond?
Yeah, let's kind of I'm going to get to it with a series of questions, but Brett, I think the best way to start is sort of walk us through kind of I know we've seen the home series in the past in the Overwatch League, like we haven't seen it before on the COD side in regards to the format that you guys did. So walk us through kind of where you guys got the idea from, how much help you got from the league, like from your guys' end, sort of start to finish, how this all got organized.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started working on the concept last summer, and really after we hosted Major 2 of last season, just the excitement that we saw out of ROKKR fans there, we wanted to find ways to just create more live events for our fans. And we decided pretty early on that it wasn't going to make sense for us to host another major, and happy to get into the details of why that is, but they're just very logistically challenging, very expensive events to put on. And so we wanted to host one of those maybe every other year.
Okay.
But we still wanted to find a way to host live events for our fans. And at the same time, wanted to think about how to create a more sustainable live event business model. And so we started going down this road last July, had several conversations with the league, started talking with other orgs about it. And then as it got closer to the schedule coming out, we started to zero in on what teams were really interested in being a part of it. And ultimately, the 4 teams that are participating agreed to come out to Wisconsin and Minnesota. Seattle Surge also agreed to come, but we weren't able to find kind of the right matchup for those guys to create a third event. And so that's the short version of it. Happy to go down any of the rabbit holes you guys are interested in.
Yeah, I think the big question that a lot of people had, I'm sure you saw on Twitter, were some of the pros had some questions about how over in this event you guys had 2 games, whereas LAG and Florida only played once. Can you speak on sort of how that happened? Was that a decision that you guys made? Was that a decision the league made?
Yeah, absolutely. So the goal at the start of it was to be able to schedule it so the other 2 teams would also play each other, so every team would play twice. Unfortunately, the way the schedule worked out, that just wasn't possible with these matchups. But as we think about like what this concept could look like in the future, that would definitely be a goal that if we followed the same format in the future, if other teams do, which is part of the idea, that each team would play each other twice. So that's what we started with, and we ended up with not being able to make that part of it work. But still wanted to bring the event together.
It's basically like from the league side, like in order to pull it off, you probably need like a multi-day event, right? Just because of volume of matches and other matches going on elsewhere throughout the league.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think it's possible. It just kind of takes a little more, I'd say, creative scheduling than was possible this time out with an event like this. Like, it's a new format, it's a new concept. Sometimes you have to prove that it works before you can get more kind of flexibility on scheduling and things like that. And so, we think we accomplished, at least some of that yesterday with, like, I loved watching like just the chat on the stream where people were genuinely confused. They thought it was a major. They weren't sure what was going on. Like, that's kind of stuff we wanted to see because it was important to us that the perception of the event was like that the production level was still, still awesome for fans, and that fans either watching on stream or in the venue were still having an awesome time. So now that, in my opinion, now that we've shown that we can do that, hopefully we can get, I'd say, more favorable scheduling around this in the future. But, well, that's all for, figuring out next year.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think there's much you can do this season. Now, you still do have one of these homestands later on this year and during the 5th major cycle. I wanted to kind of follow up on something you said. So, like, outside of some of the other learnings you discussed, like, are there other things that you guys are taking away from this home series that you want to apply to the one that's going to happen later on this year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we plan to sit down with our staff in the next few days, and we try to do this after, any event or anything big that we do, and just really, figure out what went well, what can be improved upon. I mean, that's sort of what's at our core of everything we do. So, I don't see like the basic bones of the event changing. Like that's pretty well established at this point. But we, like, I know obviously, and I'm happy to chat about it, like what was out there in Twitter from Clay and others. But like outside of that, we definitely want to get feedback from the players on how it went, both so we can think about the next event and obviously working with the league and other teams, what this concept can look like in the future. Because the core idea here has always been to prove a new live event business model, and hopefully it's something that multiple teams can do in the future.
The crazy thing is, my bad, Ben, but that's actually what the league used to was supposed to look like in the early stages. We were supposed to well, not we, but the teams were supposed to fly out to the home series and play each other in their league matches. That was actually the original format, and it kind of got scrapped because teams were like, oh, we don't want to fly around, or people don't want to fly around
too,
for
wasn't COVID?
Oh, that too. The
COVID was a really big
thing.
thing.
This is pre-COVID.
It got scrapped before COVID happened.
Yeah.
Oh, it did? Oh, okay.
It was pretty. It was pretty early. It was when franchising first was a thing. That was the whole concept. I even the first Minnesota event that you guys put on for the first it was a Modern Warfare. That was just league matches. It wasn't a tournament, right? So I think that's I think what was supposed to happen, something similar to that, which is kind of interesting that people you're trying to do it now, which is I think it's cool.
Yeah, and those events and the format changed a couple of times in the lead up to that first season, and then obviously COVID, like you said, COVID scrapped everything. But those were going to be, I think they were 3-day events with 8 teams coming out. And part of the idea here, majors will always be an important part of what CDL is, and really any esport or traditional sport, you have to have those big tentpole events. But those cost $1 million plus to produce. It's not sustainable for an individual org to host those every year. Some might, but from our perspective, that wasn't something that we felt we could do every single year. What we were doing with this event, we scaled that down where we could host 5 or 6 of these for the same thing that it would cost to put on a major. And so that was part of when I talk about proving a live event business model. That's the idea, is that for orgs that either don't want to host a major every year or don't want to host a major at all, this is something that we think is something that multiple orgs, hopefully every org, can host every year, or possibly multiple times a year. So that's where we viewed it as more than about any one event. It's about creating something that is more sustainable and is something that can grow in the future.
My question to you, Brett, is I agree, and I'm curious if any owners or specific teams have hit you guys up over the course of the weekend and be like, hey, once you guys have your learnings from this, let us know, because we're really thinking about doing this next season. If you had any specific teams or any number of teams hit you guys up already?
Well, so part of when we were talking to the other teams about this, we committed to sharing the financials, sharing how things went operationally, just sharing all the details from it, because that was part of the goal and part of why we viewed it as a test drive. So our plan from the start has always been to share that back with the other orgs, so that again it can hopefully serve as a blueprint, or not necessarily exactly this, but something like this can potentially be done in the future. And part of it is it's all about creating a path to more LAN events, right? That's always something that that's always been something that we've advocated for.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
more LAN the better, for sure.
But these
that was gonna be my next
aren't
question.
LAN events, though, right? They're just they're just matches on LAN. correct? Like for me, when I hear LAN events, I think a tournament, and I think that's probably an issue just with the CDO in general, is that we're still doing show matches for points instead of actual tournaments on a weekend basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, and there's obviously certainly a good discussion to be had about the merits of kind of different formats. My view is that if we want to try to make the local franchise model work, events like this are going to be key to it. Like we heard from a lot of our fans at this event and just like over the past couple months, like, a lot of fans love going to majors, but that's a big commitment, right? Like that's a whole weekend. From purely a fan perspective, being able to do a one-day event is a little more, I'd say, like it's a little more digestible. It makes it easier to bring new fans in and that sort of thing. So, and again, it's not about replacing majors. It's about creating something that can kind of coexist alongside it.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely more doable to do a one-day event than a whole weekend for some people, right? It's a lot easier. People have like obligations, work, school, whatever. It's easier to get there one day for sure. But Ben, any more questions you got for Brett Diamond?
I have two more questions. I have one just as a final follow-up on this, and one more like kind of off-topic question, but also I think one that people want to hear from. So just kind of a last thought, like what is your guys' current thinking next year? Like is your goal to split the difference and do maybe one or two of these and host an event, or host a major? Or are you trying to maybe do more of these home series and then maybe host a major like a year or two from now?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've figured that all out yet. Like we want to obviously talk with the league and talk with the other teams. We want players to be a part of that discussion too. Like what makes sense once we've had the learnings from these events. I think our focus would probably be trying to do more of these rather than host a major next year. But it's a little too early to tell. And I mean, one thing I do want to say, and I appreciate, what I heard you guys saying about like some of the competitive concerns are more league issues. But one of the things that was really important to us as we were putting this together, number one, our staff spent a ton of time figuring out like anything that impacted the players, anything on the stage, equipment, the production, that all of that was done to the same standard that we've had when we've hosted majors in the past. So we didn't want it to be like anything less than that. So the standard and the attention to detail was really high. And I understand the competitive concerns. One thing I would say to that is any of the issues that have been raised, all of those things exist at majors currently. So there's nothing that, there's nothing new to sort of competitive COD as we've known it the past couple of years. And that was an important piece to us from the start, was to meet that standard.
People were asking while I was smiling because you're describing, I think I know a couple of people on your end, they were probably working on that stuff. And they've always been very passionate in regards to doing right by the players and teams and sort of competitive ideas. So I feel you guys on that. And I'm glad that you guys are kind of embarking on this exploration on these events, and I hope they go off well. But I think one more question while we have you here, Brett, and I got this one from Fidget Memer on Twitter. I thought this was a really interesting question. I want to ask you about it. There's a question for you. Can you describe other efforts that you and other owners are making to grow the league that you think are getting underreported or that the community is not currently aware of?
Interesting. That's a great question. I mean, I wouldn't say anything, immediately comes to mind, but I think we've talked about this, before. Like, I don't think orgs can just sit around and like the league has a role to play in all of these things. And we are an org that behind the scenes is very vocal with Activision and the league on things that we think are important. But we, as orgs, we can't just sit around and wait for the league to solve our problems or solve the problems with the industry that exists. Like, we need to try new things and work to create that sustainability that I kept referencing. Like, that's why we view something like this as important to experiment with. And you don't get that, you don't get there overnight. Like, you have to prove that something like this works before all 12 teams can do it or multiple teams can do it.
Yeah, I actually wanted to commend you on that, because basically the way you made it seem is basically you just had this idea that you wanted to put on and see if it could be viable, or you thought it'd be like fun to put on to see if we can potentially change the landscape of the league, and you guys didn't have to do that. So for you guys to actually sit there and want to do things to make the league better for players, or even just more sustainable in terms of a business model, is it's really cool. I'm happy that we have people like you guys in the scene.
No, I appreciate that, and I definitely appreciate Florida and LAG and Boston and London being a part of this first foray in this. And like I said, Seattle had agreed to come out too. We just couldn't find a matchup for them. So, and I know there were some frustrations by some of the players, and our staff tried to do the best they could to make everybody feel comfortable. But that'll be something that we think a lot about going forward is, what does everybody that has a piece of this, whether it's fans or players or the league or other teams, like if we're going to try to do a model like this or whatever the model is going forward, like how do you make that, something that works for everybody? Easier said than done.
Cool. Well, I think, unless you all have other questions, I think just to wrap it up, Chris, or, Brett, I think my kind of thoughts is appreciate you hopping on, and I think we want to chat again with you sort of after the next homestand and kind of see sort of your final kind of wrap up thought on this, because again, I think for everybody on the show, we want to see more events, and whether they're tournaments or stuff like this. Like I'd love to see a couple other teams run them next year with maybe the aspirational goal of after the year after that, so on and so forth, so that we maybe every weekend somewhere in the US there's 3 or 4 teams playing matches on LAN, and hopefully with a LAN game server, obviously. So those are kind of my thoughts, and appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, Brett, thank you very much for hopping on the show, man. Taking time out of your day to come hop on and answer some questions. You're a real one for that, so I just really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, appreciate it, guys. If you don't mind me giving a shameless plug for our next
go
event.
ahead and plug it.
Yeah, May 6th at the Palace Theater in downtown St. Paul, rokkertickets.gg. We've got Boston and London coming out for it. So obviously local fans, it's easy to get to. If anybody wants to fly in for it too, we'd love to have you. So appreciate it. Appreciate the chance to come on, guys. And love the show.
Thank you so much, Brett. Thank you very much. You have an awesome day, man. Thank you again for coming on, and you have a good one, man. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care, man. Take care. Hey, show some love to Brett Diamond, ladies and gentlemen. Get a rat in the tag, get some W's, man. Hey, man, it's not often we get the COO of the Minnesota ROKKR or any team to hop on the show. And shout out to you, Ben, because, Ben, I know you were talking to Brett. You're the one who got him on the show like last minute. I didn't even know he was coming on, but Ben was talking to him, and he had some questions written up. So
he hit me up yesterday, and I was like, well, we should get him on today instead of doing a separate show, because I think just being topical to it would be good. And I think you and I, Tom, have talked about, I think if it works out right, I know ROKKR want to have us at the event. They had Dylan doing a watch party at the last event. I think we'll try our best to see if we can figure out maybe going to St. Paul for a day. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, huge shout out to Brett Diamond once again. And guys, we had 3 matches today. We had some good games. Pat, I would say, Pat, you said 2 matches happened today. No, maybe not so much the second match, but we're obviously going to talk about them. I say we hop into the first series and get it going. First series of the day, we got Toronto Ultra, the Major 3 champions, going up against the Seattle Surge. We start things off on a Hydro Hardpoint, LOCO Search, Hotel Control, Fortress Hardpoint, Fortress S&D. I'll let you guys start off with anything on the vetoes, anything that you guys saw in the veto process.
I think the big thing for Seattle going forward is Mercado, they're doing the classic Lamar accuracy, like having auto veto in every modes type deal. I think I really want to see them start to get Mercado in the pool. It really screws them in a matchup like this where they're giving Toronto like a really good map, respawn map in their tool set. I think it's just going to help Seattle long term as you get the chance to just try and get some reps on your auto veto and start to get that like as a potential club in your bag.
They will never get reps on their auto veto.
I know they've always his teams have always been stubborn about this, bro. It is what it is.
Well, just to get into the map a little bit, love the play from Hixie off the start with about 20-30 seconds left. I like the early rotation from him over by that right side. I thought this was just a really good play. That's like the difference maker. I think this is what Hixie does really well for these guys. That just kind of, I think that's what they really like about him, is that a young player like this is taking initiative to make game-winning plays, and this is what he did. He went around. He actually ends up winning a big gunfight here, and then catches the timing in the back. He's actually able to flank this guy Dome, who's kind of putting pressure on his teammates coming off ult, and able to take him out as well. So very good opening break here in the P2, but or for Hixie, good route. But I wanted to talk about this setup from Seattle Surge. And Chris, we got you back today. It's good to have you back, man. I know you've been dealing with some Challenger stuff, but I really love the way Seattle Surge set up this P3. This was insane. They had a guy set up in the back blocking both back spawns. Then they had a guy in hill, and then they had 2 guys pressuring front. Look at how deep Toronto Ultra is spawning here. Like, this is one of the cleanest P3 holds I've seen. In terms of, like, I don't know if they got the full 60, but they got so much time before Toronto was even able to get near the hill. I just thought it was a great setup.
Pred just did a really good job of like getting out in that water, and that's actually a sneaky play. If you can just like kind of like hug that bridge, a lot of people won't check it. They'll like, most people will just anticipate you to be like holding the top platform or the outer pipe. So Pred made a pretty good play to stall out this hill pretty far off the rip of the objective.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good setup. And then as we go into the second P3, I kind of want to go into the second rotation here because it was very back and forth. We'll tune in to a quick listening with the Seattle Surge. We'll see how they sound, and then we'll get back to the map. Let's see how the boys over at Seattle are sounding.
Toronto Ultra going to be able to take the lead right on back. But let's step aside and let's go to the comms with Seattle Surge. See if they got some fight into them going to the next hill.
He's gonna help us on my ray. I'm playing my ray. He's gonna help us on. Yeah, that means Hixie sign.
Okay, I'm running back.
Sign.
No, he's open. Challenge you guys. Open, challenge you guys.
Open, that's it.
Nice. Respond to the back. Go.
Trying to hit. So when you go top close, he's gonna hold it left. Yeah, I stunned her close. I'm trying to kill the guys pushed up. I stunned him close. He could be lower. He's on the sign. Okay. I need it close.
I got top close right now.
I got naded.
I'm trying to hit anything front. I don't see him on the god rock.
He's on the god rock. He's lying down. He's holding me in the mirror.
Kill that guy. He's on the god rock lying down. Rune's dead. On the god rock.
He jumped down. Close right. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm
top plat and god rock.
I'm right in the back.
God rock and then
top. I stun him. God rock. Weak. God rock dead. God rock dead. I stun back there in front. This full front. I'm trying to work top. Window side top weak.
I go native. God rock. I'm in front. Window side top.
Top weak. Top weak.
Top in front door. Top in front door.
Top plat in front.
Top. Dante, hold on.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
We're coming, bro. We're coming. Be cut.
Back door.
Alrighty, that's gonna do it for the boys over Seattle. How do you think the boys sound? I thought they sounded pretty good. Not too bad.
No, it's good.
There's good energy from Seattle Surge. Not too shabby. Then we get into the second rotation of hard points. This is where I thought Toronto could maybe build a little bit of a lead. They get here early over to this P3. It's AG who's the only one that's here, and I like to play from AG, just kind of holding instead of just running at him and trying to make a play. Once you get yourself pushed up into a good position, he just plays a corner, plays a kill, and he ends up getting traded out. But I like that he was able to slow down right there, not do anything crazy till his teammates get pushed up the map. And Seattle, because of that play that AG made, that allows Mac to get in there, kind of pushes Seattle back a little bit. And they're able to just kind of be a nuisance on this hole. I believe Seattle, they end up taking a long route here. It's AG who goes all the way around off that spawn. You can see him doing it now, kind of like what Hixie did in that P2. It's little things like this that lead to clean breaks in Seattle. They end up breaking this one clean. You can already see CleanX. He goes to dip back to look at that flank, but because AG took such a deep route, he ends up pinching him behind him. And look at those spawns. Once AG blocks the back and his teammates are coming from front, that's going to spawn Toronto across the map until, of course, he gives up those back spawns to get some splits. But just a good break from Seattle Surge. I thought that was a big play to game right there. That was a good 30 seconds. And then this is where the game starts getting real gritty. Because Toronto go back on this P5. They're able to bring it back on a P5. And once we go into a third set of rotations here, this is where things get really interesting. We go into the P2, and Toronto, they're actually able to bring it back with a rotation. They set up, they push out Dome, they push out this left side. Seattle, they have a hard time just getting in here until like about the last 10 seconds. You can see Seattle, so Toronto can actually win off this whole time. So
yeah,
they have a pretty good hold, and then Seattle, they just kept that pressure on them. They kept running at them, and they finally get in there to contest. So they stopped Toronto from winning. I thought Seattle might have trolled this here. I thought they were about to troll just because they lost that rotation as well. And Toronto had brought it all the way back. But Seattle did a good job, keeping this gritty.
Well,
they
Tom,
took some routes.
Pause. Sorry to cut you off. I really meant to, my bad. But I wanted to just get you at the right time in the VOD. If you back up real quick, and I think what really kind of sets this up is what we've talked about a lot on this map, and really in general on a lot of these maps, which is you give up the back, they're going to spawn there, and kill timing matters. And in the case of Toronto, those two players dying both inside and CleanX, well, they spawn old and they're not able to assist on rotation. Had they had stayed alive for maybe a couple of more seconds, they probably could have potentially spawned new. And obviously, what was an L would have been a dub.
Well, I think a good play from Seattle, too, is not pushing the back spawns. Like, when they get the kills, they run off the point. Like, they make sure they're not looking at those back spawns at all. Like, they knew what they were doing, spawning Toronto out right there. It was kind of unfortunate, Ben, because Toronto has to stay at that hill. Yeah. Like, they're about to get the W. Like, if they hold all that time, they'll get the win. But it was a good play from Seattle to get the kills through front and spawn those two players out so they can take routes and pinch on this old hill and kind of collapse. And this is at this point, this is just an absolute flood fest. Seattle do have the advantage here because they're spawning in the back. Obviously, two guys from Toronto spawned old, so Seattle, they were able to close this one out. Got close because right here, I think it was Lamar. He's the last one in hill right there. If they get Lamar before he goes down, they might have been able to do something. But
I'm actually curious. I'm actually curious where those Toronto players would have spawned if when like Hixie was backing up, he backed up P3 and the second guy to spawn just stayed P5 instead of like running away, because you'll notice one of the Seattle players actually spawned P5 and then it caused them like a split, which ended up like losing the game. But I don't know, it's just interesting because like Penn said, the timing of kills matters so much that like you have to block the spawns until people spawn up, because if you leave it open for a second on those hill transitions, that's when you start getting those weird split transition spawns, and it can fuck you, which it did for Toronto at the end of the day.
Yep. Before we get into the second map, a clip came in over on the Reddit. I think we should go to a live listening, see what was said in the clip. Benjay, it's a little clip from you. Let's tune in and see what Benjay Nassim had to say. Ben's thoughts on why Pat dislikes the Seattle Surge. Let's see.
Why does Pat hate Seattle so much? I think because he is jealous of the fact that Lamar has a bunch of guys around him, and it's a good system. And I think that Pat's jealous that he wasn't able ever to pull it off. That's my personal opinion as to why he's always talking about the Seattle situation, because he thinks that Lamar should get dropped for somebody better. And, you know, anyway.
All right, let's go back to the flank. Pat, I want to get your initial thoughts. Where's your mind at right now? Do you agree with Benjay Nassim said? We also got Doug Sensor Martin in the chat who said, I agree with Ben. Slayer, what's going on? Why are these guys at your neck, Slayer?
Tom, I mean, what it really comes down to is that just at this point, I've just become such a staple here on the flank that people need to use my name for engagements, and it is what it is. I don't think there's anyone in the world in their right mind that believes I'm jealous of Lamar for any reason, or whatever the reason Ben gave, which is that I didn't have hard carries back in the day. Listen, I'm glad I didn't have to play Modern Warfare 2019. I will be perfectly honest with all of you. I am perfectly happy that I didn't have to suffer through that absolute miserable year of a 5v5 shit COD. I really am. And got paid handsomely to do so, to sit there with my feet up. Anyway, listen, Tom, 20 championships, 2 world championships.
Yeah, no, that's a good resume, brother.
I basically got every badge of an accolade that I could possibly have on my career. Absolutely nothing to be jealous of. Got a phenomenal career after the fact.
What card did you buy with the LAG money?
Doing absolutely phenomenal. I bought a 2020 Nissan GTR that Kenny decided to copy in the black a few years later because he just couldn't stand knowing that I had it. But yeah, I mean, look, there's just nothing to be said there. I think I'm just one of the only ones that calls Seattle as they see them. These guys are just an inconsistent roller coaster, and I just call it how it is, which isn't something you see often in the Call of Duty community. So Tom, I think it just catches people off guard, catches them by surprise that one person calls things how they are, and others just get on the DSG's train, so to speak.
Hey, Pat, that's cool and all, but you can't guard me. Anyways, let's get back to the
let's get back to the map too.
Well, I can't, Chris, but apparently you can't guard the Boston Open bracket. You got T48.
Not the Boston Open bracket, Chris.
Damn. Well, let's get back into the map. Let's get back into the map. I really like the call from Seattle here. The first round was a super quick round. Seattle just ran up mid. They won a round in about 15 seconds. Can we get into the next round? I love how they play this 2v2 because they have the outskirts of the map. They end up just pushing through here. He's going to push through. He's going to get into their spawn, and he's just going to lock down the map. By Lamar doing this, that just allows Dante to get this bomb down. Lamar can see everything. He can see the whole cross. I think they knew the last two players were in mid building, and Lamar just hit some really nice shots. So Really big plays from Lamar. He's able to pick up a 2-piece. They go up 2-0. Honestly, Seattle, they go up pretty far in this one. They go up 1-5 in this one, and it was Toronto who ended up bringing it back. But luckily for Seattle, they're able to hold on. And we get into the third round. Again, Toronto, they try to do an A push, but this was another quick round. Dante finds 2 top mid. Mac finds 1 in the site. They completely blind counter the A rush from Toronto, which is cool to see. Ben, we were talking about that yesterday, how teams don't really blind counter that A point anymore that much. But Seattle, they weren't scared to get in there and just and deny that A plant. So good plays coming out of them there. And then we get into this round. I love Seattle in this round because they slow played it and they played off their information and they broke some ankles. They were able to find a first blood over towards A side, and then they just wrapped the bomb back. But unfortunately for them, Insight and Scrappy, they end up going big. This is one of the rounds that I think Seattle was... actually, no, I think they had to actually lose this round. Because Seattle, they bring the bomb back into A here. So just some ankle breaks going on. I think Toronto was just having a hard time reading Seattle in this one. You see they were able to pick out one guy to get the bomb down. And just like that 2v1 situation, all comes down to Hixie. He actually almost clutches this. He finds one onto AG here. But because he gets tagged up, Dante, he gets the trade. They go up 4-0. This is where Ultra were finally able to take a round. They actually hit Courtyard here on an offense, which we don't see very often. They hit through the double doors, and Kleenex just went absolutely rogue. So Toby, he gets a couple kills. They push through court. They're able to get 1 round on a board. And then this is the round where Seattle, they end up just playing pigs here. They spread the map on an offense. They worked through field, and they were able to go up 5-1 in this one. So a pretty good S&D from Seattle. I know Toronto was able to win a few rounds and bring it back. But Seattle, they were looking pretty comfortable in the search. And I know they had problems in S&D in the past, but what do you guys think? Seattle turned around their search game or what? Because they look better today in S&D for sure. They won both S&Ds today.
Yeah, they've been looking a lot better. I think they're starting to get their map pool down. They might not always win, but they look competitive on. I think what's their 3 maps right now? It's the Asilo, Hotel, and Embassy. Yeah, those are the 3 maps. So they actually have 3 maps that they've actually played against a quite decent amount of teams, and they've been looking a lot better. So, I mean, the trend of Seattle, they're not so much a roller coaster anymore, Pat. They've been looking a lot better. Yeah, you may think that Fred might deserve a better team or Sid might deserve a better team that's going to, consistently help them keep up. But hey, they're looking a lot better, and they're starting to find some consistency in a game mode that before they couldn't win at all.
I think it's a combo of they've got a really good handle. We've watched some of these series now. I think recently they've done a really good job of counter-striking teams, but it also seems like their situational plays also really improved. I just like the commits to B that they had here. There's a round I think later on.
Well, they should have ended it here, Ben. They should have ended
it here. But the last round when you'll get to, I thought the situational round call they had on that final round was really, really good. So I just tipped Seattle. I mean, we were really critical of their search for 2 majors, and they've really turned it around.
I think right here, Lamar, I think he just thought that somebody was going to run by him because they were putting pressure on the pinch. But I think Lamar just needs to make a move a little bit earlier. He just needs to get closer to his teammates. I know he's watching the flank, but he's just so far away that I feel like he should either challenge the guy in the pinch, and if he's not there, go. Or just move earlier, like if you're going to wait there and see if he crosses, just play your timings a little bit better there. But Lamar played great in the search. He had a good series today, but I thought that right there is probably where they should have ended it. And in Ultra, they hold on a defense. They bring this back. We go to the 4-5 round, and this is where Seattle Surge were able to close it out. I mean, Ben, you said you like their situational play in this round. They got a lot of information from the streak in this round. They called a streak. They know the B side is open. Mac is going to drop that bomb, and you can see Dante now after calling the streak. He's going to get pushed up. And I like the play from Lamar, late flanking radio and getting behind it with an AR, because if he can find one top party, which he does here, boom, at this point, you could just hit the spawn out, flip the map, and get the W. So good job from Seattle. They end up going up 2-0. We'll take a look at the final scoreboard. 10-4 from Sib. He had a fantastic map. Even 4 from Lamar, so he went double pause. Everybody pulling away from Seattle. On the other side, everybody negative except for Kleenex. Any final thoughts on the map too, guys? Pat, any final thoughts?
Nah, not really, Tom. I mean, look, they're looking better, but I still don't think that they're deserving of the gas that we may be giving out. I mean, we saw yesterday LAT still handled them, pretty easily, and so I don't know. I'm still kind of. Yeah, they're gotten a little better at search, but that's not too impressive to me.
Then we get into the map 3. I thought Toronto had a really good break off here, and I was talking to Octane a little bit about it in the TeamSpeak. But it's really hard to defend this B site on the first round of the game because nobody has trophies. So you kind of get funneled by grenades and by tax. And I think Toronto Ultra, once they were able to get 2 ticks on this, they were golden because they're going to spawn A. Like Seattle have no choice but to push this ult. And they're just going to spawn Toronto at A. And they're just going to stack A, get A. Now they have the whole round to figure out how to get 1 tick on B. So I just thought it was a really good break off. Teams are going to have to try and figure out ways. I mean, Chris, what is the best way you think to defend the B point off the rip with no trophies? Chris, are you muted? Oh, Chris, you're muted.
Oh,
you're
I'm
talking.
muted, sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
think it comes. Yeah,
It's
probably.
It's not right.
Hey, listen, bro, that clip is hilarious, bro. I knew Dan was live. I was just entertaining. It was funny though.
You're good, bro.
But,
Chris, what do you think?
What I wanted to say was, I think it's just blind countering, because like teams opt to play this multiple ways. Sometimes teams like to hit main, right, and they like to like try to flank the guy on the like god heady. Sometimes teams just like to stack bed and like basically artillery strike the god heady. I think it just comes down to a blind counter. Like sometimes you can like run down like towards the L desk and like try to like cross in a bed, or like you just like, I don't know, you just like bait out the nades before you actually like get onto like the spots on the map. It's hard, but it's not completely like chalked. Like you just have to like kind of guess correctly, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it sucks, but I mean that's just the game. You're getting blind countered.
Yeah, and then I also like from Toronto Ultra here, and I would love to see more teams do this because a lot of teams don't set this up, but they just rotate back. They just rotate back to their spawn and push out bed together. Like they just do something together. They like check out these corners. Like they do stuff as a team, and they obviously prioritize bed and just wrap back together. Granted, they got the Seattle got the kills, but they do it again. Toronto, they do it again. They rotate back towards bed, and this is where they were able to get some kills, get some trades. They trade the guys out of bed, and they kind of pin these guys back on D1, D2, these double desk area. They can't do anything.
What happened prior to that? Because like you said, the Seattle cleaned them up. So like Seattle created space after they cleaned them up. What happened that Toronto was able to even like attempt another hit at bed? Like
Toronto. When Toronto died, because at first they get through, it was AG who makes the play and they go clean dead. Mm-hmm. But Seattle, I think 2 guys spawn right on Toronto, but they rotate back again. Like Scrap, he rotates all the way back, and then they also get another bedroom spawn because Seattle never got pushed up bedroom, so you can see that the spawn comes in.
To watch right here because number 5 is just kind of doing a whole lot of nothing, and then number 7's by himself in bed tweaking. And then I think honestly that mainly just comes down to number 5. He was just by the restaurant, and like if he's there for that long, like there's no reason why. You know what I mean? Like he should be doing something.
And then
like he gives that mid cross here, Chris. Like what Dante also like I don't know if he gets hit by a nade or something.
This is fine. He's got an AR.
Well, I mean, he knows the guy's coming off spawn to his right. The guy just got by him couches. Like he knows the timings. He knows where this guy's coming up. He just kind of unfortunate timing right there.
Yeah,
he felt the presence.
Shit timing, bro. Yeah, because I mean, like you kind of just skipped to like the scenario. So I was just like, what the fuck happened? Because they just like it looked like they just got to B point for free, damn near.
Yeah. Nah, they just kept, but they worked trades bed, which I like. Chris, we see so many teams they try and take long routes going around the back, but the thing with that is I just feel like teams push out bed and they're like, yo, nobody's here, like they're just pushing our spawn, and then they just snake D1, D2, they play corners and they get finessed. Like obviously if you go around the back and get the kills, it could work. I just feel like it's hard to get the kills like that. Like
I think the reason why they were even able to do it though successfully was because they had a foothold. I think in that scenario they did have a player in bed already. Like he was top, and I think one of the Seattle players snuck underneath him, so they already like created space for them to kind of like flood it. You know what I mean? Like he might not have been able to get everything for him, but like if you can get control of like top or bottom without getting pushed out, you have map presence. So that means your teammates can come up and get to you at the very least and work from your positioning, where if you have no control over that, like it's impossible. Like it's so hard to like just break.
And Toronto, they set it up again. They go back onto the next one. They go to a defensive round. They win the defensive clean, but Seattle can't get the B point. They go up 2-0, and then Toronto's able to close this out in a 3-0 fashion. They do the same thing. They spawn A side. They rotate back towards bed. They trade the guy out of bed. One guy plays a late pinch. I don't mind one guy playing a flank. Like one guy playing middle, or one guy like trying to go around and be a nuisance, like spawn kill, or just be like a thorn in the side of the other team. But they do a great job. They work the trades bedroom. They clear it out. They force Seattle back into those back left like jewel spawns, and they're able to close this one out. Scrappy had a really big map. He went 23 and 17, so good to see him bouncing back. after a rough couple of maps. But any thoughts on the control? This was pretty comfortable for Toronto Ultra. They look good in this one.
It was, but I still think Seattle like turtled. I think like Pred was like the only person like top bed at points, and he ended up just getting ISO'd, and then they ended up just flooding the guy like towards the desk.
If you get kills, like you should push a bedroom like as fast as possible. Get as many people in there.
You should definitely try to cross. Like even if you can't get bedroom, if you can get towards like bottom long and under the metal stairs, like you essentially can just have a crossfire with your person that's godheady instead. Like I think Seattle just kind of turtled, to be honest.
Yeah, but then we get
well played on
into
Toronto.
Oh, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead, Ben.
I think the next time these two teams play, like looking at kind of map pool and what maps they play this early, I won't be surprised if we see Expo next time these two teams play. I mean, Toronto's just like the goated hotel control team. I know Seattle's good as well. I think it's seeing Seattle like take down every top control team on that map. I would just stop playing them.
Yeah,
Seattle good at a CeeLo control.
I don't think so.
Toronto's played that.
They're 3-2. Seattle's 3-2 on the map, and Toronto is 8-2. So Seattle's played it a little bit. That's what I'm saying. It's like a pick your poison thing.
I mean, I feel like I don't think they see Expo. Scrappy was literally on in the TeamSpeak earlier, basically saying the map was garbage. I think if anything, if they want to pick their poison, they maybe seeing a CeeLo.
Yeah, I just think the hotel control might not be the right play. But go ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna say, just to talk about the map a little bit. Again, Seattle had such a good start, but Toronto really prioritized the P3s on this map. They prioritized them. They got 120 points on the P3s, or close to that. And I just feel like when you have a money hill like that, like as long as you're prioritizing that on this map, you should be good. I just felt like Toronto, them playing for those P3s really helped them out here. And then going into the second rotation. Little mistake here from Toronto. I would like to see them block this P2 spawn coming off of P5. I just feel like so many teams, because they're not blocking, like number one's not blocking being here, obviously, right, Chris? Like they just spawned there, so clearly it's not working if it's true. But I feel like coming off of P5, you always want to hold P2, always. I feel like if somebody's blocking P2, if somebody's blocking, or sorry, P4, coming off of P4, going into P5, you want to block P2, because if you don't block P2 and you get kills, you're just going to spawn them out behind you and you're not going to soak up any time. But if somebody's blocking and somebody wraps right P1 and you play like art and stuff and you get kills and you get them off the hill, now you just put them in a spawn trap. You know what I mean?
P2 is actually, P2 is an important spot to like block on not only P4 but P5 as well, and even potentially on P1. So like most people will block from the top of the double stairs on that P1, but they can actually spawn P2 if you go a little too rogue. So like something I like to do whenever I'm blocking the spawn is usually those doors are open towards the side door. You just sit top dub and you like look into P2 while you're also like present stub. But
I mean, even being in open and closed,
you never want to go in.
I mean, even there, like whether you're in open close, like they still spawn like right behind you. Like somebody needs to be blocking that. Honestly, just standing there, like hard blocking that.
The hard block that you need on this map is if you go. So there's a spawn in on P5. There's a spawn in P4, like on the railings, like towards like literally where P4 is, and then there's the P2 open spawn. So best way to block that if you're trying to like block both is you just sit in the door of like P4 and you just like wait there, and they can't like go out. You kind of just go rogue as much as you want in that point.
Yeah, and then Seattle, they lose fights here. They had them pinned gate. Ultra was able to win the fight. Somehow, a couple guys just got absolutely pooped on, to be honest with you. They actually end up flipping the spawns here. So maybe a little mishap from Seattle. I feel like right there, you got to, obviously, I mean, they're trying to win the fights. They just lost the fights, but they lose the fights. Toronto, they end up flipping this, and they chain a couple hills here. They chain P1, P2. They get a lot of time. They build themselves a little bit of a lead. And then again, going into the second rotation, what do they prioritize? The P3. I mean, there's 30 seconds left in old, and they got 3 guys already in the new hill, like setting up for this hard point. Let's tune into the listening with Toronto Ultra as they're able to build their lead in the P3 and get the W here.
I'm front really weak. Sam? Might be gate on me, bro. Holding it. He's still P5, boys. Still P5. Yep. One shot ship as well. I should spawn in with you. Actually, no, I'm gonna spawn out. They're gonna flip this once out. They're gonna flip this once I spawn out, boys. Hold on. I'm behind in front as well. Be 2 seconds. Yep. Right now, dead. They help Jerry. I'm okay. Front now. Front dead. Hey, weak. I'm dead now. Last guy probably green. He's baiting his team. Yeah, low green. But hit him once. He's going on the stairs now. Top green. Big 50 stairs. Yeah. I'll help gate. I'll spawn. Okay, left front. Up in gate. I'm maybe challenge front. Yeah, up in front. Yeah, front. Front right. No, 2 front. 3 front. 3 front. One's absolute. Act your C. Nice. Come on. Guys, nice. One shot, Jimmy. If you can charm. I've already green engaged. Actually,
He's coming. Charm out.
one shot, bro. One shot. Just nade.
The guy cross.
Stack the nade.
He's laying down left side.
Gonna spawn in green, maybe. Find me, gate.
I want front.
Gate dead.
Front again.
Just soak this.
I want front again.
Stay alive. Yeah, I got.
Green screen.
You gonna charm me? Yeah, I'm just trying to
Bro.
bro. One shot.
Push.
Absolutely.
Top green.
18 seconds. 18 seconds. What's this, bro? See the guy front.
What are you
Stay in
talking
green. Gotta be in green, bro. He's gonna kill wearing green.
Bottom pillar's dead.
They got time on this break, bro. They got time on this
He's on the
break.
bench. Mac, he's back to the P1 truck.
Take your time on this break.
That's gonna do it for the listening. Good comms coming out of the Toronto Ultra, and I also like the movement here from Kleenex after the P3 hard point. He's gonna jump across from top maps. He's like Spider-Man. He's gonna get up to top double, and he's just gonna be a nuisance in this next hard point. He gets into top bar quick with the movement, and he's able to get this guy off at his time as his teammates storm through front. So Toronto Ultra, focus on those P3s. They stay disciplined on their rotations, and they're able to get the W. They end up closing it out on the final P5 and bringing this to a map 5. We'll take a look at the scoreboard. Kleenex 35 and 23. He went crazy this map.
So did Insight.
And so did Insight 30 and 20. Both those players on my fantasy team. So I was feeling nice after that one. And then on the other side, everybody negative except for Mac. Why'd you say damn? Why'd you say damn?
That's a lot of fantasy points.
It's a lot of
Tom.
points right there, Pat. I was
Decent
hyped.
haul.
I was hyped after that. Any final thoughts, guys, on the map 4?
No, I mean,
Just good plays out of Toronto.
Yep. Good
yeah,
plays.
it felt like there was a lot of momentum on Toronto's side going to map 4, and bro, another banger map 5. I wasn't feeling particularly good about Seattle going this map. I felt like Dante had a real tough one, but the Seattle guys, much improved in search, figure out how to make an impact in this one.
Yeah, I mean the first. Oh, go ahead, Pat.
What was the map that Toronto vetoed for S&D?
If you give me 3 seconds, I'll tell you.
Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look
Gotta
at
be
this
hotel.
here.
Seattle vetoed in S&D Mercado, which is another auto veto.
What did
Jeez.
Toronto veto?
Seattle. Toronto probably vetoed a hotel versus these guys.
Embassy.
Embassy. Oh yeah, no, definitely Embassy.
Yeah.
They don't play that map.
Again, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to sort of the Seattle situation with the auto vetoes. I just think that having a clear map that you're going to ban in every series doesn't give you the tactical flexibility. Sometimes dictate the map set how you want. I think you don't necessarily need to play that map all the time. I think knowing that you have that club in your bag and your opponent respects that you might choose that or play it, I think might help them towards the tail end of the season.
Probably will. Honestly, I didn't mind them vetoing it before because with the old spawns, it was kind of a toss-up. Sometimes you would get the good spawns, sometimes you get the bad spawns, and hitting that A site was weird. But I don't know if you guys know this, but with the new update, the spawns are consistent, so you never get that close A spawn that we used to talk about that basically gave you a free A. So attacking A on the defensive side and actually getting control of the house is a little bit more viable now. I still don't see a lot of people liking that map, but the dynamic of it definitely changed with the spawns being pushed back on the offensive end. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I wonder if teams start picking up on that and trying to play that map more, because I think it just changed a bit.
You guys.
I mean,
go ahead.
people all. I mean, I feel on that, Chris. I mean, people's kind of general thoughts on the map anyway. They just don't like the gamble kind of element of this map. And I think that's why we haven't seen it a bunch. And when we do see it a bunch, it's never like the map that is getting map 2 in a series. It's the leftover map that Team A is picking for game 5, and
Yeah,
Team
this
B is
map
always picking a map
stinks.
for map 2.
I mean, they were talking about Mercado or this map. Were you talking about this map or Mercado?
Are you talking about Mercado? Or are you talking about this
I
map?
was talking about Mercado. Mercado spawns got pushed back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were
Yeah.
talking about that being auto vetoed. I'm like, it's not as much of a gamble map anymore. It got changed. But anyways,
Yeah,
continue
well,
with the
we'll get
Fortress.
to that when we get to the next series. But yeah, I think that's why Fortress over Mercado, or at least
no.
with this map choice going forward. But go ahead, Tom.
I just like this round from Seattle because they don't do the do nothing strat. They don't let the bomb just go down. Like Lamar makes a good play, he ends up wide challenging this and getting a blood. And look what happens when they get the kill. Look, they all just go, all of them. They have the numbers. You might as well. Bomb's going down. Mac, he's gonna hit that site. He finds 2. Just thought that was a really clean round from Seattle. This is something they weren't doing when they were not winning games, and now they're doing it. You can really see the difference that they've been working on it. And did you guys see the hip fire that I was showing in the first round? That was insane.
I get to see it.
You didn't see it? All right, here. I
was crazy, bro. It was
played it. I
absolutely
replayed it like 80 times, but here I'll do it again.
Sorry, I was just sitting there talking to Ben.
Nah, you're good. But
spaced out.
it's a 1v1 here. It's a 1v1. Lamar goes down, and then take a look at the play here. Take a look at the hip fire from Scrap with the scar. Pops the dead silence. wins the 1v1 onto AG. Also, I don't know how AG didn't kill him. But that was definitely kind of crazy, bro. That was insane.
Impeccable centering.
That is,
Wait, I think he actually I think he got one hit marker with the hip fire. You guys, because he hit him, he killed him with 3 bullets.
I mean, he killed him when he wasn't even aimed in. He aimed in for like a split second, but like.
Well, no, I know. The ADS transition is when he killed him, but like he only connected one while like actually hip firing. But yeah, whatever.
And then we go into the next round. Seattle, they do like a pretty basic strat here. AG is gonna hold Art with his teammate. With Mac, they're gonna hold Art together. And then they're gonna get that A bomb down. So I just like that they got aggressive on A, got the bomb down right away. They flipped the switch, and Toronto was forced to just run at him. And they run into an absolute blender. And then we get into the 1-2 round. This was crazy. It's a 1v1 situation between Insight and Sib. Insight going for the 1v2. He was able to find a kill top Art. Take a look how Insight dies here. I mean, you can even take a look at his face there in the webcam down below. But take a look at his face when he loses this gunfight here. I mean, this was like unreal. This was crazy. Dante, he's going to jump the corner. Insight going to get first shots instantly. Gets imploded. It looked like he got sniped.
Dude, his face is comedy,
His
bro.
face is hilarious. His face
Do
is
they have it from
hilarious.
Sib's POV? Do they have like Sib shots?
Nah, they never showed it. I don't think. They never showed his POV. They never showed. I don't think.
He's gonna kill somebody like that.
And it wasn't even a headshot. It wasn't even a headshot. Like it was just a regular kill. Like
no, but it doesn't matter. It's
he still hits the head. Yeah, he can still hit the head. I get
it.
Yeah,
it's 3 upper chest. Yeah.
Yeah, but still like that was insane. Like the headshot. That's the headshot cheese. Like. You see Dante, he's winking at somebody. I don't know who he's winking at, but he was cheesing. Insight was absolutely mind blown. Then we get into the next round, 2v3 from AG and Dante. I would have liked to see this is something that I think right here, right? 3v2 situation. I would like to see Ultra make a play off this. Like you have numbers, like don't just let them get the bomb down and finesse y'all. Play around them. If you have numbers, play with some confidence. They end up just sitting back and playing corners. They don't want to give away any kills. And they just let them set up. They get the bomb down. AG is going to lay down like L-Wall. And Dante's going to look over him. And AG, he's able to find one 2v2 situation. Dante's able to find one. He gets traded out. And now it's a 1v1 situation between AG and Hixie. Love the play from AG here because he doesn't get scared. He gets him tagged on the bomb. He knows he's not on there. He gets tagged up and he just reads Hixie perfectly. He knows that Hixie hopped the bomb. He tagged up Bread. AG, he's going to get aggressive. He's going to win the 1v1. Seattle, they go up 4-1 in this one. And then AG, he's going to push through. He's going to find this guy on the bomb. Hixie, maybe a little mistake there, planting the bomb. I feel like maybe you shouldn't be seeing from that angle. But he ends up going down. AG's going to take him out. He shoots him in the feet. It's a 4v3 situation. And Seattle pushing through P1. They able to break this hard point. They go up 1-5. I know Toronto was able to find a couple more rounds on the board before this one ended, but Seattle Surge, it was a clinical map 5. Clinical. The rest of the looks better. They look better, man. They do look a lot better. We'll take a look at the scoreboard here. Everybody on Toronto negative. And then on the other side, 9-5 from Lamar. So he had a great map. And then 13-4 from AG. I mean, that Art was his. He patrolled top Art, bottom Art. He was all over the place the whole map. Any final thoughts on the series, gentlemen?
I have a couple. Lamar first bloods map last map.
Yeah, he went big. He was going nuts.
Lamar. I think just to circle back really quick on the plant thing, because I've been waiting to see how this developed over the course of the season. Right now, across all maps, the average plant win percentage, i.e. when you plant on offense, the win percentage is 66%. And if you scroll to every map, it's well in the 60s. In fact, on Mercado, it's 72% bomb down. So like, I don't know what this like the 2v3 plant win percentage is. I don't have the situationals. But like again, we'll keep harping on it to your point, Tom. I just feel like denying bomb plant on defense is like going to be your best strat. I know people love to play retakes, but it seems like the chance of getting clutched on is pretty high, and the math doesn't necessarily support that.
I think it's a mind game too. Like people don't want to try and deny the bomb plant, and the offensive team could just be holding and just waiting for them to do something dumb. You know, like it's the mind games, right? But I definitely think you got to have some strats to try and deny that bomb plan. Like if you're watching Cross a Bomb, or if you want if you guys want to try and hit it out, you know, I don't know. There's got to be different things. I don't mind teams playing retakes, but I really don't like it. I like if a team's going to play retakes, man, for the most part, it usually doesn't work. There's some sites that are easy to retake, like depending on the map. But
playing retakes in this game, especially online,
just
is
hard.
dog shit.
Yeah, it's
like,
just hard.
yeah,
You just sound
you have
hard.
to rely. You have to rely on having dead silence to make a play to retake. You have to hope you have like grenades in certain positions, and on top of that, if you don't like immediately have information on where people went off the bomb site, like you're just playing hide and go seek, and the time is dwindling. Playing retakes on this COD is horrible. I think one of the most important things is bomb denial. Like you have to play bomb denial spots where, as soon as you know a guy's going for a plant, like you just do everything to kill him off the bomb and just keep stalling out around.
Yeah.
Like bomb down is so AIDS in this game.
Agreed.
I think for Toronto, a lot of people in the chat saying, well, they went 0-2 this week, and I agree. It was kind of a weird week for them. Both series went to game 5, and honestly, like their respawn wasn't particularly bad. I think this weekend, I think they won both controls they played. They went 0-4 in S&Ds, and that just ended up killing them in both these series. And that's why they're sitting in an 0-2 hole. I'm not worried about Toronto long term, but since they came back, it looks like they need to clean up some things in search because you don't want to lose 4 straight.
Boston's also already taken the map 5 like multiple times. They did it at the major. They did it online when they had Standy, and they obviously did it again now. So Boston seems like a team that at least right now matches up well against this Toronto team, even if they might not always come away with the dub. As for the Seattle series, man, I mean, they just lost 2 S&Ds to a team that traditionally has not been typically strong on it. Yeah, I mean, they just had an off week.
So my
still a good team at the end of the day.
Are pretty simple. This is another reason, another example of I was just early, and I'm not wrong. You guys all were adamant about putting Toronto in the S tier, and I think it's clear the A tier, the number 1 team in A tier, is where they belong. It's evident, right? We just saw this weekend. I was trying to let you guys know. I know I'm a little bit ahead of the curve for you guys. I'm a little early, but yeah, I'm just not wrong. Listen, I'm high on Toronto. I think they're going to be our 2023 world champions, but I did correctly put them in the A tier and this weekend.
The way I see these like quote unquote tier lists, though, at least for me, Pat, is based on results and consistency of results. Yeah, there might be days or like weekends where a team looks poor in their own like league stages, or maybe a team doesn't have the best map pool in some cases. But at the end of the day, bro, results are results. Like when your fucking online record and your LAN record are damn near like what were they at? They were like 12 and like 5. They had some like ridiculous online and LAN record. Like, bro, that is an S tier team. Like, they might not always be able to like replicate it, but we're at the end of the day. You want what's crazy? FaZe's results have been better than Toronto's, but did you know that Ultra's overall LAN and online map counts are better than FaZe's?
Yeah, but we can't take that into consideration because of the strength of schedule CDL format cheat.
Well, yeah, no shit. There's only so many things we can do, but at the same time, like, this whole S tier argument is just stupid. Results are the only thing that matters, and we're playing Modern Warfare. We're playing Modern Warfare fucking 2, where
was early and 3 others were wrong.
We're playing Modern Warfare 2,
where
we're playing 2 separate games, online and on LAN, 2 different games.
Well, let's hop into the next series. Optic Texas going up against the London Royal Ravens. We start things off with a Fortress Hardpoint, Hotel S&D, and an Expo Control. Hydro Hardpoint and Mercado S&D for the 4th to 5th map, but let's just say how it is. We don't even need to look at that 4th to 5th map because this series was a DoorDash challenge, probably one of the quickest DoorDash challenges. Any thoughts on the vetoes, Ben? I see you face palming your head. You're getting all, it looks like you're stressed out over there. I know me and Ben, we broke out into a huge argument during this one. I think
we got mixy.
I think our passion got the best of us. I know Ben was telling me, because I was like, blow it up. I was saying, blow up London. What the hell are they doing? And Ben was like, all for solutions.
Wait, back up. Before we get there, Tom.
What's up, Ben? Talk to me.
Talk about the vetoes for a second.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You and I known each other for a long time.
Yep.
And you and I used to talk about vetoes a lot in World War II. Like me, you, Chris. And we always had that like conversation of, bro, you good?
Yeah, chill, bro.
All right. Anyway,
go ahead, man.
We've always had a conversation of, okay, looking at map pool might be a little bit weird. Do we want to, in a tiebreak situation, right? We're not sure we want to do, get rid of a map that might be our team's best map, or play it because it's our best map? And I guess today, because of London's shallow map pool, they were like, oh, Fortress Hardpoint. Optic's been really good on it recently, but that's been one of our decent maps. We should play it. And I think that was ultimately a mistake, and they generated zero, in fact, completely negative momentum from it. And yeah, for this London team, they're completely stuck in the
I'll
wilderness
be honest,
right
Their
now.
best map, our best map. It doesn't matter, bro. Like
you just shouldn't play Optic on Fortress. They run this map. Like they legit run this map.
That's my point. Yeah.
They've literally 100-point clubbed FaZe, Boston, and now London on this map. And FaZe and Boston are not two teams that are easy to 100-point club. So I didn't expect much from London going into this first map. I'll be honest with you. And I know Brucey also had a 1.8 today, so he just went absolutely nuts. He just had a day. Go ahead, Pat. What's wrong, Pat? What's the matter?
I don't think the vetoes matter in this series. Like,
I don't think they matter either.
Bro,
I don't think it matters who the hell they.
Bro,
what
London
map
could
they
have
play.
had the 6 Raven playing. They were still losing this series, and they were losing whatever hardpoint got picked. Like, at the end of the day, this London team just sucks. Like, straight up sucks. I don't care about how good or bad their vetoes are. They could have the worst vetoes in the league. This team just stinks. This team made a roster change, but like I think it was evident that it wasn't gonna fix their problems. This team just stinks, top to bottom.
Or they're slow.
Yeah, they stink.
They're Iron Buttes. I don't understand. They picked up a true second sub. They dropped Paul, who I think is a decent player, but not like second sub, not his preferred role. And they somehow got slower.
I'm okay.
I don't understand how it's possible.
They needed to make more moves. They needed to drop a lot of people. And I think to Chris's point, they also factored in the fact that Nasty was literally Himothy in the online or in the stage last or the last stage, and we're probably not going to get that, him performing that way again. And so yeah, I think this team just needed a lot of changes, and they made one. So I don't think the vetoes even matter. They got absolutely smoked.
Agreed. And this is kind of where the argument between me and Ben broke out, because Ben was like, bro, stop saying that. Like, find solutions. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't even know what the solutions are, because, bro, I don't know. Apparently, London doesn't have the money or doesn't have the budget to go out and just go get players and go and sign players. And I know Ben was saying that there's nobody you can get, but there's so much talent in challengers. What? There was plenty. You said that. You said it when we were arguing. You were like, "What's the solution?" Because there's nobody. You were making it seem like there was nobody to get.
Hold on. Our argument was this. I think
you wanted me to build a team, Ben.
Can I explain the argument?
Yeah, you can explain. Yeah, of course.
So the argument was, and I thought Chris actually. I want to kick to you, Chris, at some point, because I think your solution might actually be the best solution. I think the issue is we all agree that London looks broken, and they've looked broken for a long time. The best placing this org really had, if we think about it, the more, I think when we felt the strongest about this team was probably Modern Warfare 2019. Last year, they were actually like not too bad, but I think the control weakness really prevented them from winning a series. But this year, they've just been throwing darts at a dartboard, and there isn't a cohesive strategy. And we were talking about, I need to blow it up. And I got frustrated because I always dislike when we have a platform like this, and we're just stating the obvious. I'd prefer us to have conversations on, okay, well, what do we think they should do? And I agree with you with challengers. It's really hard. And I thought, Chris, I want you to kind of explain your idea, because I think kind of just doing the piecemeal approach might not be good, and they need to actually.
Yeah, the dartboard approach is not good, especially when like your dartboards are, when your darts are dull, bro. Like they don't have any sharpened darts. Like every single player that they picked up has not been anything to rave about. Like, I'm not saying any of them are necessarily bad in any aspects, but like none of them are like superstar players, and that probably is because of the budget. Secondly, at least with their old team, they used to be obsessed with obviously having a bunch of, European players or UK, players. I don't really know if the new management really cares that much about it, or maybe hell, they might even rebrand, because apparently aren't they owned by like, is he Spanish? I don't really know where
they're on KOI.
Yeah. So is that Spanish? So maybe they rebrand, like if they're trying to obviously like, bring more Spaniard, presence to their Call of Duty brand.
Ibai said that in an interview, right? He said that they wanted to potentially brand this as like a Madrid team in the league.
Yeah.
Them, which I assume was based on a.
So maybe, hold on one second, but maybe in the future, that's something they opt to do. But my solution, when you're this bad, you don't just like keep trying to pick up players. I think you find a base of team of a base of a team that wants to play together and has already had some success. There's no guarantee that they are going to find that success in the league. Obviously, we're in a tough league with a lot of competition, but at the same time, starting with the system and letting the players weed themselves out as they play higher and higher competition, I think is the best approach. Because right now what they're doing is they're just signing people that are individually skilled on certain teams, and then they get on this team with no system and they start getting slammed. So yeah, if I were them, and if I were any really struggling team that's just complete ass, so LAG's already done it, so I can't fault them for it, but sign the best European or the best NA challenger team at the end of the season. If you want to keep one of your current players because you really have faith in them, maybe try inserting them in the roster. If that's not a thing, just get a whole team, because at the very least, they have chemistry and success together, and let them weed themselves out. Like I said, some of these players might prove to be league capable players. Some of these players might struggle when they're playing better competition. But at the end of the day, at least you might find a good base and some future stars that might be able to attract other players, because what you're doing right now is not fucking working, and nobody wants to play with half of these fucking players that you're picking up. It's stupid. Stop doing it.
Pat, what's your solution, Pat?
Instead of doing Chris's solution and wasting any more money, Tom, my solution for the London Royal Ravens is to put out a formal letter to the world, letting them know that their spot in the CDL is up for sale, and that they are finished, do the exact same thing LAG did, and completely get out and sell the spot to another business, another team that wants to get in for potentially a little bit of a discount, recoup any and all money that you can, and move on to whatever next venture.
They already did.
KOI or whatever is
KOI just got them this year.
Yeah, and they should get out this year.
I mean, Ben, I instantly saw your reaction to London Royal Ravens selling the spot. What are your initial thoughts?
No comment, bro.
No comment?
No comment.
Well, just to kind of scrim through the map a little bit. This was another map. I do want to talk about the expo control, because I think we could break that down a little bit. There was a few things I saw that teams were setting up. Obviously, the first map was an absolute slammage, but I think you got to give it up to Optic too. I know London's been struggling, but got to give Optic their props. I felt like today their teamwork was on point. They were all over the map today. I felt like every time they did something together. So I'm guessing their communication was on point. And they're also just playing with a lot of confidence. Granted, they aren't playing London, but I think it is cool to see. It is good to see, if you're an Optic fan, to see them come out and play with such confidence and not be scared to challenge and make a play. And that's exactly what they did. But as we scroll through it, you can see how Optic was just slowly. I mean, they interviewed Shotzzy after the game, and they were like, Shotzzy, I think he said something about like they were just laughing, having a good time the whole series. So they laughed their way through the first two maps. And as we skimmed through the map a little bit, there were a few rounds where London were able to get on the board. But again, Optic just too strong on B. They go up 4-1 pretty early in this one. I think this is a round where London was able to win. It was a 1v2 situation. Brucey just ran out of time here, and he was falling. He ends up going down and going to the 4-2 round. And this is another quick round. It was London who tried to get aggressive through A. But I like the blind counter from Optic. Instead of just letting London get that bomb down and just do whatever they want on the A site, Shotzzy's going to get pushed up. They're going to work some crossfires. Like Shotzzy might not even, or Dashy might not even get that kill. Shotzzy doesn't put those bullets there. So just good team fires, good crossfires there. Asim tries to make a play on the pinch. I don't know if Hook soundhoard him or what, but he sniffed him out. So good plays from Hook to kind of hold that B side. But just look at the setup here from Optic. Spreading the map, not leaving any lanes open. It was just really good fundamentally played. I thought they looked good. They go up 5-2 in this one. The S&D moved by pretty quick. They ended up winning this last round with ease. They just run out of mid-map. Optic, they just big dick them. They challenge out of mid. I mean, Dashy literally just wide challenge single by himself, find one. Ghosty hits couches, finds one. And then you can see it's Shotzzy, who's putting some shots down into Asim P5, and he's going to fall to 4v1 in about 15-20 seconds. So this was another quick map. Hook went 12-3 in this one. He was having an absolute field day, and he thought on a map too. Dashy 9-2. Guy had a 1.8 today. So Optic dismantled London. They just outplayed the hell out of them today. They outplayed what Chris is doing, slapping them up. Any final thoughts on the map too, folks?
They're already dead. Stop.
They're already dead, bro.
Go next.
They're already dead. I mean, Optic, they came out to play today. And then we get into the Expo Control. I want to talk about this map a little bit. It's obviously a brand new map. We haven't seen it much. One thing that I've noticed so far with the pros playing this map, the B point is definitely the chalk-it point. For sure. Because when it gets to this 8 point, it's really easy to hold, because if you can get set up where you get somebody pushed up back here, like back bus area, and you just get outskirts here, you can see the whole point, and you just constantly just push these spawns back. Where, for instance, if Optic, it pretty much happens in the first round, because London, they're able to get B, they close it out, and then look how Optic sets up here. London, they only needed one tick. but they were never able to get it because also right here, can London stack the point? They only need one take here, bro. Like, look at this. Like, look, like Asim's on the point.
Yeah.
Maddie's top mid.
Oh, hell no.
There's two guys just pre-aiming mid. Like, bro, if they just all jump point here instead of just playing
number
corners.
7 is kill whoring, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what were they doing there?
Here's the deal.
Oh,
if you're going to push that like hotel reception side of the map and spawn them in this bottom right spot, you better be watching that middle cross, which they like really weren't.
He was.
Like,
He just got zapped. You didn't see it?
I mean, he was holding it from like a weird off
Yeah,
thing.
he's
He
top of
wasn't
the
actually
bar.
picking the guys off.
Look where he is.
Yeah, but he should hold it from the
slammed.
grill side and get the other side, the angle, so he actually catches them sprinting.
There is no reason
the side
why
of the bus.
after they get this kill here, boom, Scraps kills Hook. Everybody, Asim kills Shotzi. Everybody should be collapsing point here.
7,
What
6,
is London
and
doing?
8
What are
could
they
have all
doing?
7, 6, and 8 could have all dolphin dived on, like literally just full sprint dolphin dived on the point. They would have capped it like
Bro.
as soon as like green was like the optic was spawning.
Bro,
Look
this is the
how
problem with
crazy.
London,
Just
dude.
look at the mini map and look at the kill feed. Look how crazy. How does London not win this round? They just kill
They got no
because they do
fucking
nothing.
buttons, Tom.
They do nothing.
No go buttons.
Insane,
It's
bro.
almost like
Bro,
they're not even like think they don't even know how to like get on a point. Like they don't even know the damn objective.
Bro, they need running shoes. They need to take those fucking stone ass fucking whatever on their feet and put on some fucking
They
J's
get
and
too
make some
dead.
O's.
Asim hustles. Dolphin dives onto the point. He's the only one there. He gets naded off, gets half to take by himself, and we're just standing around. London's just standing around doing nothing. And now that obviously that buys time for Optic to just make it. Now Optic has the whole map now. Optic's probably confused. Like, guys, they're not on it. What the fuck? Like, keep pushing.
If you're not going to stack it, at least push the pools. Listen, if you're going to spawn them close and you want to get to an eventual stack, you want to spawn them out. So you need to get another wave of kills. So two of you being there watching middle cross is probably not ideal. Get someone pushed up to the side of the pool and catch them crossing from that like back hut side. There are a lot of different ways they could have played it, stacked it, or gotten the next wave of kills, and they didn't either.
Even here, like they get a kill here, I believe. Look at the Optic doesn't even deplete the point. All London need to do is try and get to this point at the same time, like just try and coordinate something, like coordinate a good push here. And I also didn't like how
Why aren't they
London.
flanking?
Why are they flanking? I was just gonna say
No,
that.
why aren't they flanking?
No,
Look
I'm
at where
saying,
they
but
are right now.
no, Chris, why aren't they backing up though and just killing this guy out of their butt, like killing this guy out of their spawn? They're not gonna be able to
No,
cap.
that shit is hard.
Yeah, but Chris, they're not gonna be able to cap A if they don't clear this out.
What do you? Man, I don't know
Kinda
about
hard.
that.
It's kind of hard to do that. I think flanking is a fine play if they the way they end up getting
All of
space.
them? All of them? You want all of them to flank?
Well, they're not all flanking. Number 5 has presence mid. And he's just kind of staying alive. But look at 7 and 8. Like, yoo-hoo.
I'm just saying,
that-
Optic,
that's
bro,
like the
Optic,
frequency control,
Optic,
right?
Optic
If
are
you-
golden
If they
here.
flank,
Yeah.
if they flank and get this kill, they block that spawn. Number 1 has to track back to them, and then number 5 or the people off spawn can make a play mid. They just had to collapse. It's the same concept as the bed shit, bro. Like the equivalent to wrapping bed
like
is
get
like
them out of
trying
their
to wrap
spots.
back and kill number 1. Like that's hard to do sometimes, especially if they crossfire, if they read the pressure that you're wrapping back,
Yeah.
number 4 could easily go into the, like, I call it the restaurant, and help number 1 crossfire the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? If they at least try to flank and split and get that and block that glass spawn, like they have a chance, but they just sat around their bar.
Yeah, I agree. Like I mean, bro, they don't hop points, so they're not gonna be able to get anybody to come out of their spawn when they literally don't even get on the fucking point. But and then we get into the next round. London was actually able to hold on to A. London just chalked B. There was a period of time where they just gave it up. They didn't even want it. And then we get over to the offense. It was London who set up that outskirts setup. They get the kills and they just kind of push up this left side of the map. They're actually able to hold Optic off here, and just kind of work like this outskirts like back spawn area. London did a good job here, kind of pinning Optic back. They pretty much did the same thing that Optic did. The only difference here was this round got close when it came to the lives. Optic did a good job just constantly stopping clock, and the subs are going crazy. Both Hook and Shotzi were all over the map, and I think I saw Shotzi say something on stream that this is Hook and his and Hook's playground. Like they really like this map. But you could kind of see how it was able to unfold. London, they hold on their defense. They pretty much do what Optic did to them. And then somehow, some way, London, they have such a good break off where they get a clean wipe off the rip, where they were able to get this A point quickly. But Optic was actually able to hold on to all the B point the whole entire time, which, I mean, Chris, what's the best way I feel like to get this B point? I feel like you definitely want to try and get top windows control and try and get the kills. Like, you don't want anybody lingering like that top windows area at all.
Yeah, I think the main way to get this is if you lose full control of B, you're gonna be spawning towards like where number 6 was. Like you're spawning in the bottom left corner of the mini map. I think the best way to do it is create space around mid. I don't think you flank this point. This is not a point you flank. I think you create space around mid by getting control of like your outer hallways, like around the bar. And then like you try to wrap back and clear out this like top hallway in your spawn. Because I think wrapping back and clearing out this like the expo is what I call it, because it's like a convention center, right? The expo is a little bit easier than like wrapping back and like clearing out the snow because there's a lot less crossfires. I think flanking is kind of troll because you can easily get cut from bar. And then you have to like, you spawn them closer, and then you also have to like clear out like the elevator and like the backside of the theater stage. So that's a lot harder to do. I think you need to create space mid and wrap. I think
Chris, like if you like, I think what will make this B point like super hard to break is if you get them that deep spawn, like that bottom right spawn, they have to either wrap back, so they're going through a choke point, and you could be sitting on a desk just snaking it. And even if you kill the guy in desk, you still got to go down the ladder shaft to go through backstage. It's a journey, or you can cut through middle, flank through pool, and go through the hallway. Well, there might be a guy lying down there. There might be a guy watching the crossfire from the hill.
Yeah,
I think to your point, getting that push out and almost covering backstage plus and info desk.
I don't think you full flank this lobby like where Shotzi is. I think you get mid control and like play around either like a wrap or like around the bar / the bottom like hallway. Like you can maybe like quick pinch through like glass, but like eventually you're kind of like converging around like the B point. You're not going around it because that's going to give them the closer spawn.
Yep.
Going into the 4th round, I love how Dashy plays this. So while his team is playing B, he stays alive like A side and cuts mid. And I feel like what that does is it eliminates the flank. Like nobody can really take a route and go around. And once Brucey gets those kills, what does he do? He funnels in. Like he gets the kills, he gets the people trying to go around, and then he funnels in, helps his guys on hill. And they were able to cap this B point. I just thought it was a good heads up play from Bruce.
Yeah.
You can even see him like picking up that pinch, like turning around, like making sure nobody's coming in from the back. Because once you're in this situation here, I think this is a big reason.
Fucking chalked.
This is chalked because now Brucey did the hard part. He killed the people pinching around middle, and then he dropped back and just helped his team. He just sat in the power position, helped his team push up. And at that point, I mean, that was just a smooth round from Optic. I just liked how Brucey played that coming off an 8 point. It was a good play. That one was all over. We'll take a look at the final scoreboard. This was a 3-0 DoorDash challenge. Slayer, you awake?
Oh shit!
Slayer, you into Slayer, wake up, Slayer, wake up. We did Optic 3-0 London. I don't know if you saw that, Slayer. I don't know if you saw that ball.
Yeah, I saw it earlier, Tom. I ordered food. It got here before the series was done.
Yeah, hey, Slayer, how'd you sleep, Slayer? You slept all right, Slayer? You slept okay?
Let me got the crust on my eyes. That was a good one, Tom.
It was a good series, huh?
That was a quick nap.
They dismissed the London Royal Ravens. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, on second match, Optic versus London? Any thoughts at all?
Yeah, London's got to blow it up again.
You said London's got to blow it up again? They've never blown it up. They've made they just keep changing out one player, thinking like it's going to change the whole ball game.
They got to do it again and again and again and again and again, Tom.
Well, let's go on to the next series. Atlanta FaZe going up against the Florida Mutineers. This one went all the way down to a last map. I don't think a lot of people saw that one coming. We got Hotel Hardpoint, Embassy S&D, Hotel Control, and Bussy Hardpoint, and then we got Mercado, Search and Destroy.
And what?
And Bussy. It's not hey, listen, bro. Hey, Octane started that, not me. Let's hop into it. What do you guys think about the vetoes? Anything at all as we head into the map number 1?
I guess in retrospect, maybe Florida getting rid of Hotel S&D didn't really age well, but I mean, it's an interesting set. But as we get into it, I mean, looking the way map 1 played out, it looked like FaZe's hardpoint was clean, but this series got a little weird, Tom.
It got a little weird. Just to go into the first map, it was back and forth early. They were kind of trading rotations. I love the route here from Slasher. He's actually going to be that guy that gets here early. You can see number 8 on the mini map, right? He's going to be at old. He's going to find 1, finds 2, get some time, finds 3. Not only does he get the scrap, but then you have Simp and the boys from FaZe. They start rotating over to that other hill. But Slasher, he goes big on this one. He ends up getting 3 at old. It kind of pins Florida back, and FaZe was able to get some good time here because they were able to change some time from the P4 to P5. So just really big kills coming in from FaZe off the scrap there. Really big plays from Austin. And then, of course, this is where things start to get a little interesting. The flips come in for Florida, but Florida didn't do the best of job holding this, man. They all spawned kitchen side. And then I don't even know how FaZe was able to get all these kills, but they pushed right through Kitchen, and Abizi and Simp just have a field day. I almost feel like they shouldn't even overchow too much here. Like, Florida should let FaZe, like, run out. Like, they should be L-triggering up here. Like, I don't think they should be pushing into them. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I thought Florida kind of trolled right there. Chris, you good? I think we just lost somebody.
I think I'm locked in, bro.
You're locked in.
Hold on 2 seconds.
I agree, Tom. And then, but Florida did a good job on this last P5 here. I think it goes into a listening, right, where they were able to kind of make this hill mixy, but then they kind of broke down on the P1, and that was really the map.
Yeah, they definitely broke down. FaZe got so much time on the P1. We don't need to go into the listening because
so many time and so many kills. They got like 13 kills in a row.
Yeah, they just got so many kills, and they funneled them into the kitchen spawn, like the P5 spawn. They start getting P2 spawns. I mean, FaZe just has a good awareness here. Like, we know on P1 there's like a few spawns where they can come up, like the P3 spawns, like in the kitchen where you see right now Fellow just spawned, and then they can also flip behind them P2. And they were just aware of everything. Like, everybody was pushed out and everybody was winning their fights.
That's actually some godlike awareness.
Yeah, this is just godlike play. Honestly, this is just really good plays. They just were recognizing every spawn and they were winning all their fights. So Florida kind of get put in a blender here.
They were in the lab, bro. No cap.
Yeah, they were in the lab.
The P1 is so hard to like read sometimes if you're like going rogue, like, and people are just running around. But they micromanage that really well. I'm actually impressed.
Yeah, and then the P4, I like the break from FaZe. I thought this was a really good break. You can kind of see how they set it up. So you see Simp, he's gonna be the one pushing left and going around, and then the rest of the players are gonna fill in the gaps. One guy's gonna play through mid, Abizi, and then the other guys are gonna play through front bed. They're gonna call the streak. I just like how they didn't just blindly call a streak. Like, they took routes, they pinched them in, and then they called the streaks. And you can see the streak comes down. Florida panics. They get a clean wipe, and FaZe, it's just a clean break. They're able to pounce on Florida in this one, and it was a pretty comfortable map 1 for FaZe. It was not a comfortable series as we move on, but definitely a good map number 1 from them. Any thoughts? I thought that was a clean break right there. I thought FaZe looked good in this one. And Slasher had a good map. He took the hat off today, so maybe that helped him a little bit. But
what do you see that going
about goddamn time, Jesus.
Any final thoughts on a map 1, folks?
I mean, good map.
I mean, after map 1, it was looking, because we had Embassy S&D coming up next. It was looking like a hot 3-0, but it did not play out that way.
Well, the next map gets definitely a little interesting as we head over to the Embassy. First round, I love the play from Florida. They didn't have the plant. I like here that Capsule. First of all, Capsule played so much better today. We were really ragging on him yesterday about him just kind of like not trusting his teammates and trying to do too much. It was a night and day difference watching him play today. Like, I don't know if he was watching the show or just like his team said something, but he was back to his old self today. I thought he had a great series. Just playing a little bit more patient. But I liked right there how they stopped the plant from going down. Because the minute that bomb goes down, what's up?
Back up?
Yeah, what's
like, up? It actually comes down to timing. Because MC's laying down. I think he's probably watching like the outer cross. And then MC kind of gives it up. He actually gets the worst timing. And that way, there's nobody to get the insta trade. And Cap's able to get the kill and get away. Because MC had already backed up.
Like, plant denial was so important in this game.
Yeah.
That like, even if like, let's say like Cap is like looking at these windows, he's thinking about plant denying like immediately, and like even if you were to kill that guy instantly and then get traded, like that still technically is like a winning play out of like Cap, even if you were to get traded regardless. We like, because we were actually talking about plant denial in what series was it? Was it Toronto? It was here on Seattle.
The first series of Seattle series.
I just want to bring up how fucking important it is to like deny bomb plants, because it just buys you time to like make plays, and it also gives you free information. Like, you plant deny, bomb down, play around that bomb down, right? They have to go for it, blah blah blah. It's so important to deny bomb in this COD.
And I also love I love the retake here from Florida. I thought they outplayed FaZe here. I don't even know how they were able to do this. Fellow's able to find one with a snipe low orange. Havoc is there to pick up his trade instantly. It's a 4v3 in favor of FaZe. Ends up being a 3v4 in favor, or 3v2, excuse me, in favor of Florida. And then Selim, he's pushed up over to the right here. They got a guy top PD, and what does Florida do? They do something together. They don't chow top PD by themselves. They don't do anything stupid. Everything they do as a unit, they do as a team. They're able to just retake the Atlanta FaZe and get another round on the board. So good round from them. And then I like the blind counter here from Florida. I think number 3 It was Brack went over towards PD side. He was kind of being that guy on the island, but I don't know if this was a blind counter for Florida or what, but they ended up playing the A bomb site here, and FaZe just weren't ready for it. Florida beat them to the site. FaZe sent all 4 guys towards the B side, and Florida just take advantage of it. It was a really good play call, whoever called that. And Florida was able to get a pretty comfortable round here as they completely blind countered FaZe. So good round. And then, again, Capsule with another great play here. Getting aggressive through the middle of the map. He's able to deny that plant once again. Again, I just feel like somebody from FaZe needs to be there with Tyler there. I mean, they probably just took the risk that maybe nobody was going to be running through mid-map. But Capsule did not let that bomb go down. He hits through mid. He denies the bomb plant once again. And then Havoc, he's able to flank the spawn once Capital finds the kill, and he gets a couple kills. So, Florida, they go up 4-1 in this one. And then this is where things get a little interesting here. FaZe, they start to bring it back. We go into the 4-2 round. Florida, they end up getting another retake here on Atlanta FaZe, by the way. I don't know how FaZe kept trolling these B plants. I feel like here, once the bomb is down, this is a round that they need to win. And Florida do a fantastic job once again. And it's Capsule who just opens it up with another blood. He finds a guy outside of Orange. He's going to end up opening that door and, again, waiting for each other, working with one another. They work the trades on a bomb site. And, again, another 3v2 scenario. Last one up is MC and Florida. They have plenty of time. They got 20 seconds on the clock. They end up going up 5-2 here. I think Brack even heard him last second. Some nice shots there.
Hello hit a really good snipe that round, too, on Slasher.
Yeah.
Tyler's been really good with the snipe, bro. He's been hitting some clean sniper shots, man. I mean, he's been doing his thing for sure. So, gotta shout out Tyler Fellow with the sniper rifle. And then FaZe, they're down 5-2. They bring this all the way back to around 11. FaZe started playing like they didn't care. They just started running, and it was working. They started running at them. They started challenging everything. You see how they just hit right into PD off the rip. They got complete map control here. I also really like the reach out here from MC back alley. You can see number 5 and number 1 on your mini map. MC, he sees the stun coming at him, so he knows if he gets stunned, he's dead. So he chows before the stun hits. He's able to get a big kill because that would have been a big kill. I could see Florida wrapping the bomb if MC ends up going down there. So
Yeah.
he falls. Tyler Fellow gets the hit marker. He's probably losing full. Then we get into the next round. FaZe end up sending 2 guys towards the B site, but look at where the bomb is. Bomb is all the way A side. Maybe trying to throw in some jukes, man, a little bit. Maybe trying to throw Florida off a little bit, but I like the play call there. Send guys B, get Florida guessing, and that's going to open up that A site for FaZe. They're going to get in there. I know they tried to double chow top AC, but they're able to get the bomb down. Brack was the last one up. FaZe, clinical round there. 5-4 round. FaZe, they end up rushing PD again. I mean, look how aggressive they play this. They just hit up through P2. Nobody's there from Florida, and instead of FaZe hesitating like you'll see people do, they just go right through. No fucks given. They're going to jump right through top PD. A B's going to dive out. Sim's going to get the trade. And just a good round from FaZe as they're able to push this to around 11 as Florida. They end up losing like 4 straight here.
I think that's like a typical FaZe strat, by the way. They love doing that. Simp and Abizi always either go like S2 door or they go front bathroom and they just bait and switch the doorway and just run into PD they do it a lot of their defenses. Yep. It's like a staple.
Yep. And then we get into the round 11, which got interesting. Florida, they decided to slow play it a little bit. Fellow ends up getting a hit marker. He ends up shooting somebody's toes or something. He's going to go down. And then you can see
another first blood.
Yeah, another first blood for FaZe. They go up 4-3. Sim tried to get aggressive top PD with the numbers there, and his teammates standing alive B side. Sim probably should have chilled a little bit there, but it was a good pickup from Brack to turn around and read that presence. And then Capsule ends up challenging MC back alley. He's gonna go down. Slash is by himself. And Florida, they just spread the map. They slow play some picks, and I think they just took a deep breath going into the round 11. They said, guys, we can't choke this. Spread the map, hold the lane, get some information, and that's what they did. They were able to close it out. Brack 10-5, and it's one fantastic map from him. Go ahead, Pat, what's up?
I still don't think FaZe should have lost this map at all. I mean, dude, they had 8 out of the 11 first bloods. They're still unbelievably good at first bloods, and then you just see like we did in that round 11. Like, you had a 4v3. They're on offense. Like, make them do something. Like, I feel like they're just giving it away because they're just getting a little impatient and like wanting to end the game before they have to, because look, if you get 8 out of 11 first bloods, like you should win that map every time.
Yeah, but also like, dude, they kept getting bomb denied by Cap, and like that's like easily fixable. There's no reason this guy should be peeking off of top AC without anyone shooting at him. There's no reason this guy should be running up mid fucking map when he got stunned. Also, on the round where they do end up like rushing the bomb and 2 of them planning, like there's just no calm. Like they have a guy top their office windows. Like he should be like, the people on the bomb should be like, yo, get me off this bomb, like watch over me, like this guy's top AC. And instead he gets picked by, like, one of them gets picked running away by top AC, no trade, like, and then the last guy gets ISO'd on bomb. So like they just weren't I feel like they just were like not communicating like at all in those rounds.
And then we get into the control. FaZe end up 3-0 sweeping them in the control. I'll run by it pretty quickly. Off the rip, Florida's actually able to get a good break. We just talked about that in the last series, but they throw their attacks. FaZe get a clean wiped off the rip, and Florida cap beat instantly. But FaZe, they're able to hold on to this 8 point for 2 minutes. They just set up, man. Florida was never able to get a wipe. And this is an easy hit. I feel like teams have gotten better holding A as the year went on, but just constant pressure over towards Kitchen. I even like the route here from Simp, like trying to be a nuisance, trying to go around, like flank him a little bit. But FaZe, they just continue to hold on to that Kitchen side of the map. And Florida was never able to get him out of here. Slasher even had a good first round. You see Florida rotating back, trying to kill him. But FaZe, they were able to just constantly win these fights over towards the Kitchen side of the map. Over by this 8 point, and Florida were not able to get in.
Did Slasher pull out another sub?
I think he picked it up.
Yeah,
I think he picked the sub up.
I hate how the camo changes when you pick up a gun.
Yeah,
like,
I don't like that either.
It's hard to know if a guy picked it up unless you watch him.
Yeah, just the product of them trying to, you know, make sure the team sins are consistent makes it weird.
Then FaZe do the same thing right back to them on the offense. Quick B cap off the rip. They just get a clean wipe. We've seen a few teams do that off the rip, Ripperoonie around. They just they get a clean wipe and get a 4 dead. And then I just think this really opens up with Tyler Beasy. I think Tyler makes a good play here to get onto this 8 point. You can see the stun comes in. Tyler, he's by himself. He's going to find 1. Going to lay down. Boom. Finds 2. There you go. There's Kitchen control. That's what Florida struggled to do. And Abizi did it by himself. He just hit Kitchen. He finds 2. That's going to open up the lanes. FaZe is going to swarm onto the 8 point, and they're going to win this offense as MC picks up the final kill. Good plays from Abizi. I thought Abizi really opened it up for them in that round there. And then obviously FaZe, they go back on the defense. Pretty comfortable defense from them. 8 point goes by fast. This was a more default round. FaZe, they stay pushed out bedroom. They stay pushed out D1, D2. Florida not able to get the kills. Lives go down. Map all over. Tyler Fellow had a rough one in this one. Just another blender from the Florida Mutineers. FaZe looked good in this map number 3. Any final thoughts on the map 3, guys? Any final thoughts at all?
No, it was FaZe has struggled at times with hotel control, and this one was pretty clean. So, and on the Florida side, Fellow with the 6 point is tough.
Second lowest hotel round win percentage.
Yeah, I mean they still got plenty of working on that game mode, but was again another one where we thought FaZe had a clean respawn. This thing was over, going to an embassy hard point that they were really good at, one that Florida with their new team hadn't won at all, and the unexpected happened. Yeah,
so we get to the 4th map. We get into an embassy hard point. It was a pretty back and forth map. They were trading rotations, and this was a rotation that FaZe did not hold. I thought Capsule made a fantastic play here. He's going to take the routes, but he takes his time. He doesn't just jump in there. He checks all these corners, and he makes sure he clears everything. He's able to find 1. Then he checks this left corner here, able to put some shots down into a BZ, and then the trades come in from Florida. It's a clean break from Florida. I just like how they pinched this. I like how 2 guys went around the back, like towards the left, and then I like how the other 2 guys, when they come off spawn, they play through front and work through laundry, because they just pitch the hill. FaZe, 1 Simp goes down here. Capsule really picking his spots, playing those corners. I thought he really led the push here for the Florida break. Florida were able to build their lead going into the second rotation. So really big break there. And then as we get into the second set of rotations, Florida, they stay disciplined on their rotos, and they're able to get another break on the P4 to really extend their lead. And we can kind of see how that unfolded. It starts again with Simp, right? He's pushed out here. Again, and I've seen this happen so many times where a guy in this P4 rotation is pushed out PD, and he gets singled out, and then as soon as he goes down, the guys on hill just get absolutely flooded on. Anything you would have done differently here, Chris? Or you think maybe just unlucky that he lost the gunfight? I just feel like if he's playing a little bit closer, he'd have somebody to work with there on rotation. I just feel like they're too separated.
Yeah. I think they made this mistake. Like
they did the same thing.
They did the same thing. Who did they play? It was their first match this week. or this weekend, they did the same thing. Like, just play tight in the hallways. Your first wave should always be played tight unless you have major full map control. I think when you get caught out in the open on these transitions, that's when like you're more susceptible to breaking. And it happened to them twice. Like, this is the second time this exact scenario happened. They're just
they also got a team kill with a trophy.
Yeah, that was tough.
That's unlucky, but still, like,
even if he doesn't go down with the trophy, they're getting pinched on hill now because somebody died and they're outnumbered now. Like, if Simp goes down, boom, 4v3.
We had Sam also in the watch party talking about like this might be one of the hardest situations in the game because it just like the hold after you get the wave of kills is pretty straightforward because you just sort of know where they're funneling spawn wise and you can kind of know the routes. But this initial flood is just like or dealing with this first wave is always very tricky.
The first wave, first wave is not that tricky. I'm breaking this hill is hard to do because you're just funneling through 2 hallways. You're funneling through that. You're just funneling. If you just get the information of where they're coming from, you keep your stuns, your nades. They're at your mercy, bro. Not only do you have trophies, because if you're all playing around the objective, you're playing tight. You have trophies which are going to protect you and well, hopefully not kill you, but you have trophies that are gonna protect you. And then on top of that, you have all your throwables. So when they get close, you bait them in, and then you just lob everything you have at them and you wipe them. Like, breaking that shit is hard.
I agree, Chris, but we had Sam on, and Sam said this is one of the hardest situations that's out there.
And I love the way everybody's spamming W raid. King Zuzu, thank you for the 1 viewer raid. You're an animal. Thank you very much. I really love how Florida broke this hill. You can see the guy off hold, right? It's Havoc. He's gonna take the long route. He's gonna go to P2 while the rest of his team plays through mid and AC. Once he wins that fight, P2, you can see because of the pinch, look at where that guy spawns, right? MC, he's gonna spawn out. They set it up perfectly. They're going to swarm onto the hill, and they get a clean break. They ended up going into a listening with FaZe as they were losing the map. So that was interesting. If you guys want to watch it back, you can. But Florida, they actually get a pretty big hold here. They get a lot of time, and they're pretty much right there. I mean, they're up, a pretty good amount here as we go into a third set of rotations. The Florida Mutineers, they work a couple nice breaks. Like, there's 2 or 3 really nice breaks from Florida. I thought they worked really well with one another. They were able to win this map and close this one out. They end up tying it up. We go to a map 5. We'll take a look at the scoreboard. Capsule 32 and 27. What a map from him. What a map. Like to see him doing his thing. 3,500 damage. Brack 28 and 16. He had another good one. On the other side, Simp and Abeezy, right? Don't see the terrorists too often struggling like that, but they had a rough map. Only one positive in this one was Slasher. He was the only one that was able to stay above that 500. But any final thoughts on a map 4, guys, before we head into the last and final map of the day?
No, I mean, big cap, great map out of him. Extremely tippable. Brack as well, and surprisingly, both Tiny Terrors really struggled. No real
This map was crazy. This map was crazy.
But then we went to map 5 and to the Beezy said, "Hold that! I'm just gonna go hit my forward on my stick and get 75,000 kills."
Tiny Terrors they might have struggled there, Ben, but not in the S&D.
Yeah, not in the S&D.
Talk about it.
The Terrors.
100 first bloods.
He had 100 first bloods, did he? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this year. The next closest is Shotzi with 73.
That's insane, bro. That is insane. I mean, you saw how they were able to do it. Abeezy and Simp literally just ran at the other team. They just ran A. They challenged it. Then we go into the 0-1 round. Look what they do again. They challenge it again. It's going to be Cell. He's going to play through tunnel. They're going to swarm out. They're not just going to wait. They're going to chow. They all run. Abeezy finds 2. Simp finds 1. Last one up is Tyler Fellow. He's like, what the hell just happened? Where did my team go? He's going to fall. FaZe, they go up 2-0. Next round, what do? Same exact thing. FaZe, they're going to take the bomb over to the A side, and they just chow. This was just, I mean, they were winning rounds so quick. Abeezy, going to jump out the window, finds 1, good place. His timings were on point. He's going to lay down. Slash is going to get his back, and just like that, Atlanta FaZe, they are able to get another round on the board. Slasher finds a couple kills. They're just running at A. I mean, they're literally just hard sprinting at A. I mean,
you know what's crazy? So with the new spawns, like, that's technically less viable. I just think Florida doesn't like have the new timings mapped down in their head because, like, for example, if they would have just got a trophy down on the bush and just pre-aimed like this bottom door, pre-aimed the window, like Abeezy's not running out, but they're not even looking at it. One guy's just sprinting at it, the other guy's just kind of sitting back. Like, they're just like, they're not used to this timing. Not to say the map's perfect, but it's definitely a lot more manageable than it was before. Because before, if they got that close spawn, you're chalk. Like, they're beating you no matter what. Yeah. And you don't have a chance, but it's not that bad anymore.
And you see Abeezy right in the 5th round. He does it again. He just runs at him through A, finds a 2-piece, kills him off hedges. They go up 1-4 here. And then the 1-4 round, this was an interesting setup from FaZe. They had Simp up top, and then he had a guy underneath them. MC, he's able to find one. Simp finds another one. If he was able to find this third, that might have been around towards FaZe. But MC, I put MC with a bunch of question marks in this round because he tries to do. I don't know what MC tried to do right there. But he went rogue. He just jumps off. But, Florida, they're able to get another round on the board. It's just a lot of 8 counters. And then I like this round here from FaZe. They used the streak that they got. BZ was absolutely pissing. He bangs it off the top of the building, so he was able to find a kill, and they get the information. They know the B site is wide open. The streak is not just for kills, but it's also for info, and they do a good job using that information and executing. They rush over to B. They're able to find another kill, and now it's a 4v2 situation. Bomb goes down. Florida, they're absolutely chalked. Nothing that they can do there unless they world star. And then we get into the final, or not the final round. This is interesting because I thought Simp was about to ninja defuse this. So you can see how this happens. Simp in a 1v2 situation, 30 seconds left on the clock. Chris actually decides to just lay down and hop the bomb, which I understand why he did it, and it almost worked. I think he got it like 80% of the way up. And then Fellow, he checks the bomb and he takes him off, but that would have been a crazy ninja defuse if he would have got that.
A tough way to lose.
And then we get into
to be honest.
And then we get into the last round, and it's a 2v4 from Abizi and MC. Abizi, he's able to find 2 kills down low. Now it's a 2v2, and it's left onto Tyler Fellow and Brack to try and close this one out. But the boys over at FaZe, Abizi, he's going to jump out. He's going to chow this last guy over on the awning. He's going to fall. Last one up is Brack on the hedges. Abizi's going to take him out. And just like that, Abizi goes 14-5 to win this map 5. I mean, Abizi just completely took over. 2-4 from Slasher. 6-3 from MC, 7-5 from Simp, but 14-5 from Abizi. That's a typical performance out of Tyler right there. So, great work from him. Any final thoughts, guys? We went to a last map, Atlanta faced Florida. Any final thoughts on the series? I thought Florida looked much better today compared to what they showed yesterday. They looked like they were playing more as a team today, and I think they just need to keep playing like that.
I mean, when you get those monstrous performances out of Brack and Cap, like, this team can actually go places, but the thing is, they're just like inconsistent. I know they're a new team still, but like the new team cheese is not gonna be an excuse that they can make forever. I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that they've made these changes and they're looking this good, like, or not this good, but at least competitive at times, is actually kind of tippable, man. Whatever they got going over there, system wise, coach wise, like it's starting to show some improvement, which is good for Muniers.
Yeah.
I was going to say, they look better, but I still think this should have been a 3-0 series. And when we went game 5, like, FaZe undefeated on that map with a 91% first blood win rate. So, like, I don't know. I still think this team just got kind of not lucky. I hate saying that, but, like, they got by on that game 2, which extended this series. But I think it could have been a 3-0. And we would have had a different.
At the end of the day, bro, we're nearing the end of the season. Like, I feel like we're starting to get to that point later where, like, hard points, I think FaZe still needs to improve. Like, they need to at least get over the fucking 50-50 mark. I think they're just underneath it. They're like at 40-something% in terms of their win-loss in hard point. But, like, we're gonna get to the tail end of the season where, like, hard point is just not gonna be a reliable, like, super reliable game mode. I feel like every team is gonna be competitive, and sometimes you're gonna have those, like, crazy fluke losses. So FaZe still got to improve in that game mode, but I mean, they're still really good at search, and their control's looking a little bit better. So we'll see.
All right, well, let's get into predictions. I was just looking at Ben's Reddit post to see what kind of questions coming in. There's a lot of trolley questions, so, I'll pick a couple questions out of there and, like, a couple good ones, and we'll go with the flow with that one. But let's do predictions. We got the Boston Breeds going up against London next Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, followed by Florida versus Seattle, followed by the New York Subliners going up against the Minnesota ROKKR. I'll kick things off. I got Boston Breeds 3-0 over the London Royal Ravens. Pat, who do you got?
Yeah, Boston. If you pick London to win, you are smoking that good, Tom.
Yeah. Chris, who do you got?
Boston.
Ben?
Boston, man. Sorry, London. I don't know how you can pick them in this series.
Then we got the
What do you
Florida.
think the odds are on that series to bet?
Someone can let us know what the line is right now. I'd also love to know.
Then we got the Florida Mutineers going up against Seattle Surge. I'm actually going to go Seattle 3-2. I can see Florida making it a series. I think Seattle have been looking pretty good, though. I think they got some confidence with them. I think they're going to ride off some momentum. I can see Seattle taking that one. I'll go 3-2. Pat, who do you got?
I think this is one of those series where it's gonna determine the roller coaster for the Surge, and I'm gonna go with a 3-2 upset Florida Mutineers.
Alrighty, Chris, who do you got?
I think Seattle have looked pretty good lately. I'm gonna pick Seattle.
Ben?
I think I got Seattle 3-1 in this one.
Alrighty, and then we got the New York Subliners going up against the Minnesota ROKKR. I mean, I know ROKKR came off a 2-0 weekend. They look a lot better actually with Fame. I feel like maybe Fame was a good choice. I mean, he came in, he looked really good. I thought he played really well. And then you got the New York Subliners, who I think is a really good team. I feel like the way people have been talking about New York after a couple rough events, I feel like people are kind of counting them out, but I'm definitely not counting them out. I'm going to go with the New York Subliners. I'm going to go 3-1. I think the New York Subliners are going to take care of business in this one. Pat, who do you got? New York or Minnesota?
I'm gonna go New York here. I think ROKKR won't be at the little home event thing again. We'll be back in the online match. So I'm gonna go with New York Subliners in a 3-1, winning both hard points.
Chris?
I want to say New York, but listen, I got Fame on my fantasy, so like I gotta pick the ROKKR here. He was looking good out there in that opening series. Hopefully he can pull out another. I guess this would be an upset, so another upset here versus New York.
Yep. Ben, who do you got?
It's a tough one. I want to say last map, and it's just going to be a classic ROKKR online choke against New York, and New York will take it. Getting too many ROKKR blows on games 5s, and I got to go with New York on this one.
Yeah, but they got Fame, bro, the default character.
Before
the default character.
Yeah, he looks like a default character.
I just put 250,000 channel points on Ben missing the putt.
Well, first we're gonna do community questions today. We got some questions coming in, and let's take a look at some of them coming in, bro. Let's see what some of the people are saying. We got Dizzy Jam coming in. This is the top one. What player do you think the pros rate differently to the average CDL viewer, and why? I think Slasher is a great example of this. I also see a lot of people, again, saying stuff like this. The easiest cop-out is the Flank's Golden Boy ASIM, 1,000% for real. ZooMaa shills so hard for ASIM. Dude's never done anything except have a good major one time. It's weird because I could have sworn Scump was on stream about a month ago saying ASIM is a fantastic player for these guys, but nobody said anything when Scump said it. But because he's a friend of mine, and because he's a friend, I still think highly of him. I still think he's a good player. I think it's very hard for a good player to do good in a system that just has no idea what they're doing. I mean, if the team's not going to play well together and they're not going to work together and not play the game the right way, I mean, there's not much anybody can do, no matter how good you are.
He's been on poo-poo PP teams, bro. Like eye test wise, and like if you talk to the guy and like listen to his comms, like he understands the game, and he's not like he's not talented. Like he just hasn't been on the best teams. Period.
Dude, that is literally the argument I made for why some of like the top tier challenger players jump the gun when they join some of these shit teams, because they come in and regardless of how good they are, their stock gets obliterated because they just joined the worst team in the league.
Go ahead, Ben. Take it over.
No one is good on a shit team. Like it's just how it is in this.
No one is good on a shit team, bro. Especially in this game. This game is the blender game, bro. Worse than MW 2019.
Are there? I guess to you, Chris, first. Like, are there any players you think that are like mega underrated? Do you think like we don't gas them up on the show, or do like stuff that maybe people don't see, just kind of watching?
I'd probably say Assault. I think, at least me and Pat, I think Assault is very good. I think Assault is another one of those players that he kind of was in the same circle of teammates for a very long time until he got kind of outcasted into essentially like challengers and stuff like that. But I always thought Assault was very good. He's a big game player, and he's always like super calm and composed. And he's disgusting. I think he's always been a very good player. So I think a lot of people, at least from my perspective, might not see Assault as a really good player, but I think he's a great player.
Kiz in the chat said that's not true because people can change dynamics. Bro, you joined a team with Crim6 and Hydra. That is not comparable to what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about these players joining teams with like bottom of the barrel fucking players and
like,
teams. Like, it's much different.
Yeah. Did all you guys answer? All you guys answered
No
the question.
top players on that team.
Bro, Kismet,
It is
like,
what it is.
listen, you definitely got better over the years, and like you obviously are a great player now, but like you were on that old Paris Legion squad,
Oh, that team was rough.
and at least from what I like, bro, you know me. I
Hydra
knew you were a
ain't-
good player,
not-
and you were on
Hydra's
that
not
team, and you
bottom of
guys
the
were.
barrel. I just lost full. Bro, that team just sucked, but the players weren't bottom of the barrel. Like, bro, Hydra, we've been talking about him being like a top 3 sub this whole time.
Yeah, it also wasn't one player. You made a
How did we get into
change.
this convo? Because I had to get up and go. How did you guys get into this convo?
We basically said no player can be good on a shit team. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. Like, if you join a shit team with no talent, no talented players, you're just not going to be good. You're not going to do well.
Right.
Kids
Bro,
said that's
if
not
you
true
are
because he
spawning
compared
it-
his New
bro.
York example, but it's like we were talking about London, bro. Like, bro, I'm sorry, there's no Hydras or Crims or winners on that London
Nah,
team.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry, this is what it is.
On these games, on this game nowadays, if you're spawning out because your teammates lick a wall and you have to break some of these hills, you are getting fucking farmed. Sure, you might play for a 1 and try to play for a hard kill and maybe boost your statistics in one way, but if you're trying to actually play for the win, bro, you are getting fucking farmed in these games. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're sitting there, and if you're not getting farmed and your teammates are, and your team is getting mega slammed, you are kill whoring. So, come on, bro, you can't, dude. This game especially.
Listen, and maybe this will help the argument because I'm trying to see it from Kismet and Troy's because I see Sender, I see Kismet in the chat because they're both typing. I feel like the better player, whether or not they're getting good results or not, like the better player on the team will have opportunities where he shines above the rest. You know what I mean?
Sure. But at the end of the day,
it started as we were talking about like like some of the top challenger players coming in and joining like these bottom of the barrel teams. Like it's kind of just pointless. There's literally no future in that bottom of the barrel team. Like, because your stock, like Yuli, I don't know how good Yuli is. I don't know how good he could be. But coming in and joining that London team, bro, he's gonna get obliterated, and he's not gonna look to whatever talent he may have had or may have been at, just because he's joining a team that sucks. And you're
bro,
gonna suck on a shitty
basically
team.
put it this way: an average player is gonna look better playing with good people than if he's playing with the worst people. It's just a known fact, bro. Like it's not hard to understand. If you have if you are an average player and you are playing with the best players in the world, like you're probably going to find a little bit more success than if you were playing with the worst players in the world. Like,
yeah,
that's common sense.
Situation.
It's common sense. Also, like Kismet for you in the chat, good example for you is like, yeah, you might be really good, but at the same time, if no one picks you up and puts you in these ideal scenarios, Tommy was saying how, oh, if you are that good, you will get those opportunities. Sure, but how long is that going to take, bro? Kismet, you are gross, and bro, I've known this from playing you in challengers. And I've known this for a long time. Like, I know the type of player you are. You were sitting in challengers for fucking how long? Sure, you finally got your opportunities, but how long did that take you? When, in your opinion, you're like, wow, I can change this dynamic of a team. Sure, but bro, if you spawned in on Paris again, no offense, with like the worst team in the league or the current London squad worst team in the league, you really think you were going to change that dynamic and make them like one of the best teams, if not a competitive roster? Fuck no.
Nah,
no.
Get smoked and then go back to
Fuck
challenge,
no.
bro. Or re-sign on London, whatever it would have been.
He said, of course, it's just not the way the cookie crumbles. I'm just saying to not kill people's hopes.
We're realists. We're realists here.
I mean, listen, I don't disagree with Kismet when he says like it's definitely not impossible. Like it's possible.
No, but you have to join a team that like it's possible to save. Bro, Hydra was on that team. Crim, the literally the winningest player of all time. Like you had pieces there, and they made a 2-person change and brought in 2 people that they realistically needed. Some environment is just totally different.
Somebody said Clay. Somebody said Clay changed Vegas. They had what? They still have Donnie. Donnie was godlike in Vanguard. Now they got Clay and Donnie, and then they obviously pick up, whoever the hell they pick up. But Clay didn't just single-handedly change that. Donnie was already a really good piece on that team.
Oh, wait, I'm also mind blown. What do we talk about when we say changed Vegas? These guys are still 9th. Like,
okay, yeah, that too. They're
bro,
still not in the best spot possible, but you get the point.
They're better, but they're still 9th. Like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
9th and 11th, bro. Like
you're right. You're right.
Well,
you get the point.
there.
Let's move to the next question. Do you think FaZe upgrade from Slasher next year? Do you see FaZe making a change for Slasher next year?
Probably not, unless they could get like
I think it's hard to say now without seeing their placements. You would say Slasher probably. I mean, the trio FaZe has been playing together for years. Like everybody knows Slasher's like the odd one out of the team, but they already got a major win already. They've gotten good placings. Like I think Slasher's a good player. Like I think he brings a lot to the team. Yesterday he really struggled. He got poofed on yesterday.
They haven't got outside the top 3, right? At an event?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and they went on like a set 20 game SD winning streak or some shit. Yeah, I think they're fine.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's like a crazy player that's attainable, that's a different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then maybe. But at the same time, bro, like this game, the skill gap is smaller than Vanguard's. That shit's crazy. On top of that, they're playing a game where like their weakest game mode is hardpoint, and I've said this on the show 3 million times. The best game mode in this game, and probably the most consistent game mode, is gonna be Search and Destroy this year. And you see it with the amount of win streaks and loss streaks that teams are having, because it genuinely is hard to be consistent in Search in this game. Like it takes more skill. Hardpoint in this game, bro, the best hardpoint in the team could literally lose the worst hardpoint team. Like
We've seen it
we see it all the time. Literally, like once a weekend, somebody's just losing a hard point somehow to a team that just should not win the map. They obviously have their woes in hard point. I'm not making an excuse for their hard point. They obviously can get better, and they definitely should at least get over the 50% margin. But if their one woe this year is struggling in HP, bro, who's to say that's going to happen next year? Ideally, if the skill ceiling gets raised. I think
Austin brings a lot of different intangibles to the team too, just in terms of like being a play caller and being a leader. Like he's definitely a good player. But I've said in the past, and I always die by this, like I think IGLing and stuff like that is like some of the most overrated stuff in COD, in my opinion. I feel like all 4 players should be giving input and calling stuff in games. Like I feel like everybody needs to be talking and saying what to do. But
I agree with you, Tom. But like the reality is, not a lot of people can do that, and that's like just the flaw with players. Like that's not something that's ever gonna go away.
X, do you think that XDefiant's commitment to being horrible at communication may be hurting the game, leaving fans in limbo regarding playtests, release dates, etc.? Makes no sense to me, and honestly kills some of the hype.
Wait, I'm confused. What does he mean communication? We've literally been extremely transparent with everything that we're doing.
I don't know. I have no idea. But we'll move on to the next one. Can you explain why it's worse to be Seattle, not a team like Boston? How Seattle is super consistent, top 2 to top 12. At least when a major comes, they have a chance to win the event. But a team like Boston is kind of stuck top 8 and struggles to make Sundays. Can you explain why it's worse to be Seattle?
I gotta reread this.
Not a team
Dude,
like
some
Boston.
of these questions on Reddit, bro.
Can you explain why it's worse to be Seattle, not a team like Boston? How Seattle is super inconsistent, top 2 to top 12. At least when the major comes, they have a chance to win the event. But a team like Boston is kind of stuck top 8 and struggles to make Sundays.
Where's that Billy Madison meme,
I mean,
bro?
but Boston just made a Sunday. They were just top 4. That's the only thing.
That question is horrible. I don't even know what he's asking, to be honest with you. Next.
Hold on, bro. I gotta
He's speaking in hieroglyphics, bro.
Hold on, bro. I gotta put Have you guys seen the movie Billy Madison?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Bro, that is the most incoherent statement.
Every time I go on Reddit, bro. Anytime I read anything on Reddit.
Wait, I got a question for Tom and Ake since they were players. What do you think about players?
My bad, Chris.
Yeah,
What?
and yeah, no, he didn't. Yeah, he just like completely forgot that Chris is a player too. I got a question for Tom and Ake since they were players. What do you think about players' mentality these days? I see a lot of players complaining about their circumstances, work situations, etc. Example, Clayster, RCD's Kenny controller situation, Optic forfeiting earlier this year. Personally, I don't think any of these are legit excuses, but players let these check them. Do COD pros need to have a stronger mindset?
I'll take this one, Tom.
Okay, yeah, I'll go after you. Yeah, I got it.
I actually don't disagree in the sense that I think players are way more entitled than they were in the past. I think the amount of money that players in general make has changed a lot. Like when we were making like bottom of the barrel salary and the prize monies were much lower, like I feel like there was a little bit more of a pride aspect to competing, and I think nowadays like it's a lot of entitlement across the board, and more than just like stuff toward the CDL or in general. So I do think the amount of money people make has changed a lot, and I think that's just a natural progression, honestly, of just how it's going to happen when people make way more money doing something they did before for less money. But overall, I think it's just something that's not going to really change. I think it's just kind of like the day and age that we're in now, and the expectations that are set and are probably going to stay set.
Yeah,
I don't think people complaining and stuff like that and letting themselves get checked necessarily. Obviously, that's like people definitely need to have stronger mindsets, but I don't think it's wrong for them to complain about these things. Like, bro, these guys do this shit every day for a living, and people want their daily lives to be as smooth as possible. When little shit that is under your control comes in and throws off your entire day, or something that you've been working, imagine this: you are putting every single hour of your day into practicing and trying to be as prepared as possible for a big event, something that's going to potentially change your career, is going to affect the season, and something comes in and throws you off that literally you can't control. It just ruins your fucking opportunity, even if it might not directly affect it, where it's like it like fully chalks you. Like, bro, that is taxing. We deal with shit like this on a daily basis as competitors.
I just don't think it's that black and white. I think it just depends about what they're bitching about.
Obviously, of course.
So, like some things that people say, it's like, okay, like what the hell is this guy saying? And then sometimes it's like, all right, it's pretty valid. Like Kenny, I mean, his controller breaking. I mean, that all happened on camera. It was in the 0 to 100. Like, I would lose fucking composure if my controller.
It was right before the match. You didn't have a chance to warm up.
I would lose,
anything.
bro. If my controller was broken before a match, I'm losing composure. Like, let me give you a hypothetical situation, right? You're at COD Champs. Let me, damn, Slay. You just took the whole. I was gonna go through a whole story.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was
first
what you were gonna
series.
do.
You're at Call of Duty Champs. First series of the weekend, right? First team on that stage. First team on a setup, and there's a construction light, a construction highway light right behind you, shining on your monitor, and you can't fucking see your monitor, right? You go 4 and 23. You might happen to go like 4 and 23 or something. You can't do anything about that, bro. Like, you just play. You're gonna lose full. Like, if you can't do something about something you can't change, you're gonna lose composure. Like, I said something to the referee. He didn't say that. He said we can't do anything about it. You gotta play or you forfeit. And I played, and I got shit on, and I lost full. You know what I mean?
Bro, I think we all have stories like that, because I have one that was really bad, Tom. Back in Call of Duty
all got
Ghosts.
stories, bro.
Back in Call of Duty Ghosts, when we first made the transition from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, we were going to the regionals qualifier for Call of Duty Champs. This is the one where Doug beats you, Pat, and he holds that shit to this day, whatever.
Damn,
my controller was in my bag.
Made.
My controller was in my bag. I'm getting set up to play my first qualifier match. I open up my bag. I see my controller is broken. The stick is completely fucked. It's like dislodged from the thing, whatever.
Wait, hold on. Real quick to interrupt you. You didn't put your controller in a case?
They didn't know. That was back when they first made them, and they didn't give me a case. It was the
back in the day, I didn't have case either. I didn't have a case either back in the day.
This was back in the day when they didn't give me a case. Pat, this was
in my backpack.
This was during the transition to Xbox. This was during the transition to 360 to Xbox One, where Scuff literally sent out like brand new Xbox One scuffs like that, like barely released, and they got
kept it in
listen.
the
Well, yeah,
nah,
of course.
I don't want, bro. That's on you.
I don't care, regardless if it's on me or not. What I'm saying is, I literally open up my shit. The controller's completely broken, and back then they didn't really have scuff boosts like that, right? But they had one they didn't have one at regional, or they did have one at regionals.
No,
but guess what? They only had default, like the default like layout. It was left stick concave, right stick domed, and I didn't play with that at the time. I played with 2 concave sticks, and apparently, no people didn't know this, but they were medium height. And the fucking ones at the scuff booth were both small sticks and domed. So I had to grab a controller from there. Nobody had a spare because, right, the controllers are basically brand new. And I had to play with that shit. So without a warm up, and I didn't play too good in the first series, we ended up not qualifying. We ended up not qualifying for COD Champs and Ghosts. That was back when I was playing with Ricky, Killa, and Miracles?
This whole conversation is just comedy to me because this guy was on Reddit complaining about how players are like always bitching and stuff, and then we just start bitching on the flag about old shit that hold on. Like,
well, no, but it's the thing is that shit checks your entire dude.
Yeah, that's comedy.
When shit like that happens to you, you lose it, bro. You're just like, dude, why am I using a dome stick right now?
Ben, any stories when you're out on the golf course in a tournament or something? And fucking your club is broken or some shit. Any stories? Because we know your ass wasn't competing in COD. We know that, Ben. We know that. But is there any other game that you can think of, Benjay, that you played
No, you guys keep rolling with this convo. I got nothing to add.
Well, Ben, I think it's time that
No,
we hit
I'm saying I got nothing to add, Tom. You guys, I'm not. I
Slay,
can't
you got
equate to your
Slay, you
experience.
got a story, Slay? You got a story?
I got a lot of stories.
All right, give us your best one.
All right, give us one. Give us one good story, bro.
Best one.
Give us one. Give us one. Bro.
You have something that mega checked you at a tournament or like at any point gaming related.
It didn't mega check me, but check this.
I know what he's gonna wait. I know what he's gonna say. I know exactly. He's gonna talk about the stitches in the head. He's gonna talk about the stitches in the head.
Nah. That didn't check me, Tom. That just got me right. You know what I mean? That got me right. No sleeve, bro. 6 stitches in the thumb showed up. 2 series from loser bracket against the newly formed Optic Dynasty. Shut them down. No problem. But that wasn't what I was gonna talk about.
What are we gonna say, Pat?
God, I got so many stories, bro. I'll go back. I'll take us back to 2014, Tom.
Okay. 2014. I'm listening.
So, you know, just got done going through 13 of 14 grand finals. Okay. In a row, Tom, in a row. And the only one that we didn't make was PAX West, when Haggy wanted to use like riot shields and shit at some like.
What the fuck, Chris? Riot shields?
Wait, that was Ricky's tech, and you did make the grand finals. You just lost to me.
Damn,
No,
my bad.
I'm bad. I'm sorry. I did say 13 of 14 events.
Yeah, bro.
And got second at PAX West because Chris wanted to use a riot shield, whatever. Prize money difference was like $50. It wasn't a big deal.
Dude, use a riot shield. I'll watch over you mid.
anyway, Tom, win COD champs. Okay, win COD champs. Come home, win PAX East season 1 playoffs, and then win UGC. It was a really quick time frame. And during this time, Tom, you know, I'm on my business grind, right? I'm talking to Alex Garfield, who was at the time CEO of Evil Geniuses. And for those of you who may not know, EG at the time was the biggest Oregon esports. Like North America cleared the rest in esports in 2014.
I don't know about that, but wow.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact. In 2014, that's a fact.
Okay, keep going.
And I'm talking about global esports, not like COD. Like
get to the fucking point.
Hey, what the fuck, Pat? Damn.
Anyway, no, this is a big one. Anyway, so negotiate with Alex Garfield a way to buy us out of Complexity. And so Complexity sells us for, at the time, the biggest buyout in Call of Duty history. I think it was like $90K for all of us back then, coach included. This was a lot of money back then. Make this happen, right? We go to EG, and then all of a sudden MLG wants to get involved too much, and they decide they want to go to MLG.TV and create this new platform for everybody to stream on, and force all COD content to be exclusive to that platform.
Right.
And as you know, as we all know, what happens in the Call of Duty community when a platform that's not the main platform gets forced for exclusivity, it's good for nobody. But at the time,
EG was sponsored by Twitch.
EG was not only sponsored by Twitch,
or whatever,
but they were in process of being bought out by Twitch. So Twitch was buying the EG brand.
Right.
You're gonna wake up for this one, trust me. And so us being sponsored, we could not stream at all. We could not do anything because league matches that happened every weekend, and you had to stream them. It was like the rules. You couldn't stream, and this is like the height of our situation. And we couldn't stream, we couldn't do anything. So with that created a lot of turmoil with MLG and our team in general. So I started streaming on Twitch with a black screen that said like "fuck you, Adam Apicella and Sundance," and I put their emails on the black screen. I told everybody to email them.
No, you doxed them like that ass?
I just put their email. It wasn't a doc. Their emails were public information. It was in their bio.
Nah, it's public. It's public info. It's public info.
Like MLG TV and Sundance MLG TV.
Yeah. No.
Their bio. Anyway, put that in my stream, and I streamed just comms because we weren't allowed to stream the gameplay. Anyway, that led to some arguments internally and behind the scenes, which then led to me saying some words to some MLG employees.
Right.
And at the time, I got banned, Tom.
Damn,
I got banned. Yeah, Tom, if you want to Google MLG or Aches MLG detriment, you can get some articles. There's a PC Gamer one. There's a .esports one. You could pick your, whatever you'd like. I got banned, and MLG decided to release an article that said my behavior was detrimental to the league. And so we had to end up using a sub for our league matches, and it was Facinto who subbed in. They ended up losing all the matches without me. You know, it is what it is. I was that guy.
Right.
And then that ended up making my team not qualify for season 3 playoffs because we lost all those matches. Like, it was a lot that I got suspended for. It was like 6, I think, which was a lot. And my team didn't qualify, so then we didn't make season 3 playoffs. And this was in Ghost. And then that kind of checked our team. And then our team broke up. And then Damon this is before our team broke up. Damon was having a baby, and he was going to miss a tournament. And we wanted to go to the said tournament. We had to get a fill-in. And then we didn't end up going, but then Damon was checked, and we loaned Damon to FaZe, and we picked up Dito. And then we go to the last event, the ESWC event. I had like a 1.5 for the dub.
Right.
Win that last event, just show what was good. And then the EG team completely splits. Optic decides to buy us all out. Money went in my pocket, by the way. I think it was like, since our contracts were expiring, I think Hector and Nade paid $15K for the 4 of us.
Damn.
And we each got $3K. I don't think they got their money because they were getting bought out, but Teep and Damon went to the B team, Krim went to the A team, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to FaZe. I go to FaZe, Tom. Cut my hand at the hotel Sunday night leading into championship Sunday. I got the leading KD at the event on the Saturday night, like going into Sunday, leading KD. Get no sleep, Tom, none at all. Go into Sunday, get stitched up, 5-6 stitches in the right thumb, the shooting thumb, by the way.
It was on your palm, but yeah.
Nah, the scars.
Shooting thumb.
It was on his palm.
The right stick. Anyway, go show up, get absolutely world starred the first series. We got 3-0. I didn't get no warm up because Adam was debating whether he should let me play because I was bleeding still a little bit, freshly stitched up.
Yeah, I slammed you.
Got 3-0'd, went to the loser bracket, and then slammed back to back series. I think it was like Denial. Tom, you were on that one.
we got slammed. And
then TK slammed them bad. Detroit uplink was like 20-3. It was bad. And then slam Chris again in the loser finals when he was still trying to use camouflage on me, even though it was GA'd.
Whoa, stop, dude. It wasn't me.
Nah, Chris, well, you always doing sketchy shit, bro. Keep going,
it
Pat.
was not, bro. It's always, dude. It was always Rick, bro. Rick always loves those cheesy ass shits, bro.
Then we load up in the grand finals versus the newly formed God Squad on Optic, Krim, Formal, Scump, Nashai. And then absolutely had my way with them in a best of 11, winning 2 best of 5s. And taking home the chip. FaZe's championship at the time. Everything's going good. And yeah, Tom, that was how getting banned from MLG checked me for a little bit, checked my team. But
bro, if you think about it, MLG broke up your complexity team. The domino effect. They broke up your complexity team in domino effect.
Yeah, and then Optic deciding to buy my teammates for like the 17th time. But
damn. That happens, bro. That's what's going on. Hey, listen, Pat, thank you very much for your story. I really appreciate you sharing. It was a great story. Thank you very much. Ben, why don't you
I hope that answered that guy's question.
Nah, I
think we're good.
I hope I answered his question as well. Ben, why don't you sync us out with a part? How about that? Why don't you sync us, bro? You go do what you got to do,
Get the
man.
light going. I'm going to get this part going.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused, though. The timer ran out on the poll, and all my channel points they're gone. What happened with that?
They're gone.
Yeah, because it's hidden. You gotta let me know.
I think they're banked. He has to like distribute them to whoever wins. Like it's not like done.
Oh, okay.
The timer's just for like entering. I think. No, am I wrong? I could be wrong.
They're locked in. Okay.
Oh, Optic Halo won. Oh, Optic Halo beat FaZe. Damn. Good tries. Good tries. I'll tell you what, that Optic Halo team is like a fucking dynasty at this point, bro.
Wait,
those guys keep winning.
Hey, Tom, what happened?
Bro, we didn't see it. You gotta do it again.
You didn't even hit it. You didn't even hit it.
Wait, Ben, you gotta do it again. We didn't even watch. We didn't even watch.
We didn't even watch it. Ben, we didn't even watch it. We didn't even watch it. We didn't even watch it.
Do it again.
We didn't even watch it. We weren't ready, bro. You gotta make sure we're ready, Ben. We gotta make sure we're ready, Ben. Come on.
Chill, chat. A replay. Yo, he got a free replay.
Nah. He missed it. Did he miss it? Did he miss it?
Yo, he got a free replay. Yeah, just go again.
Ben, hit it, man. We didn't see it. We're at full screen now.
Yo, he got the free replay, bro.
Nah, he missed. He's gonna miss it again too. No way, he sunk it. Now, what did he do the first time though?
He sunk it.
He sunk it. What happened the first time? Nah.
Both clutch were clean.
Nah, get the fuck. Were both clutch? Were they clean? Were they clean?
I won on the replay, bro. I won on the replay.
Nah, you missed the first one, Ben. You missed the first one.
What? The first one was dead center. What are
Ben,
you talking about?
You gotta be an honorable man right now. We got channel points on the line.
VAR, bro. That shit.
We gotta go to VAR, but I was switching scenes, man. Why did I do that?
You still had him in the top right.
Oh my! Why is my roommate parking?
Why did I do that, bro? I just wanted to show the picture, bro. Look, the Slayer, bro. I just wanted to show this picture, but damn, Ben. We gotta go to VAR, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta go to VAR. Okay.
Damn, I'm tall as shit right there.
No, you are. You are tall as shit. What happened? Did he make it? Did he not make it? Ben, you made both putts. Be honest.
Yeah, obviously I made both putts. Why would I lie on the show, Tom? They were dead center.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I believe Benjay. I believe him. He's a man of his word. But as always, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today.
All right, Chris, distribute. Chris is hitting distribute the points.
Go ahead.
Ben, I told you I bet 250K on you missing, but I actually bet on you hitting.
Nah,
so it's psychology to make you win. Now I'm sitting at 500K channel points, baby.
Damn, Slayer just had to come up. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites to run, and go follow at the flank on Twitter. Girls doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. As always, take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of the Flank, man. Take it easy, man. Have a good night.
Peace.